Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Jonny Sue is on those ones and twos. Fam, you did good that time. You didn't laugh as much. You didn't, chuckle at me. You didn't make fun of my introduction.
Well, you weren't as extra, so.
Well, I try to be like just stoic there and just come in like really.
It's not stoic.
Sean Connery style.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Convo Couch. Hi, Alex.
Well.
Go to hell, Alex.
I wouldn't call it Sean Connery, but
It's a bad Sean Connery, but it's a Sean Connery attempt nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important show today. Every show is important, but this one's real important and real special because we have a serious event coming up, which we are going to cover. First off, if you haven't seen Fiorella's article that she just released the other day, it is fire, fam. As an election integrity activist, not just as your partner, it was so juicy to read because it was so educational within the steps of what's going on with our elections, where the mainstream media and the establishment are lying and obfuscating the people to make believe that we have fair elections, number one, that we have proper audits, number two, and more than anything, they're trying to make believe that the actual choices of elected officials are valid. And they really are not, because our systems are so blown up. Anything to say about your article? Because it is really juicy.
Juicy.
It's a juicy article. It's a juicy article.
Well, I think it's informative, and I think it should be, it's just like what I was trying to point out is that no matter what you think about the election and no matter where you lie on the political spectrum, the fact that they are lying about a bill so blatantly, and it's just being accepted as fact without questioning, especially on the left. A lot of these people, oh my God, it's such a racist bill. They didn't even read the bill. They didn't look at it. They have no idea what they're saying. They're just regurgitating mainstream media talking points. And when the independent media left does that, then what's the point of you being independent media? Yeah. Like, you don't always have to counter something just because you don't like a Democrat. But when they're wrong, you're supposed to be offering the truth. And that's what guides the article, is the truth. It's not that I like Biden or Trump better. It's that what actually is going on in Georgia and how they framed this bill was complete fabrication compared to what was actually in it. And I think people deserve to know that, whether they agree with us when we're like, hey, this is actually not a terrible bill, or not, or they still feel like it's suppression. Going through exactly what's in it, I think, is important, so people know, like, wait a minute, if they're lying about this bill, maybe they're lying about a couple of other things. And that's what's happening with the Arizona audit, is that they are gaslighting people into thinking audits are a bad thing. And there is an article coming up on the Arizona audit that I am writing up right now, and I haven't stopped. I mean, we worked through the weekend to get
is this the
out.
article I started that I've been kind of putting out there that you've been
It's the article you helped put some things in, yes.
Fiorella is going to go crazy with it, and you know how she writes. She writes amazingly and stuff. But yes, the Arizona audit, we're going to be talking about that too. But just to follow up, fam, today I had an interview with a guy out in Georgia who's known as one of the top election integrity activists out there. His name is Garland Favorito, fellow Paisan. And we talked about a lot of the things that you're talking about when it comes, and the elections in Georgia are really turned upside down. They are messy. There's a lot of BS, and we kind of shined a light on those things. And he was so impressed. But the thing that I really took from the whole interview today was, for 15 years, he's been fighting with progressives for election integrity. Everything is flipped on its head, and we now live in that cartoon we talk about. And now it's Trump people who are fighting for election integrity, and too many progressives are concerned about the results, and they forgot about the awful practices and the procedures within our elections.
Amnesia. The United States of amnesia.
So we are going to be releasing that interview today. It was just amazing. But what's really special about today is that there's a lot of people who follow us and who are fans of the Convo Couch who understand the importance of election integrity. One of those people is our good friend Michael Ungerleider, who we call him Ungie, a fan of the show, and he's kind of given out a little message, and he's doing something special for today's show. Let's take a look at what Ungie has to say.
Hey guys, Ung714 here. Hey, if you're a fan of the Convo Couch, you likely know these guys are all about election integrity. And you also likely know that in Arizona right now, there's a recount that the Democrats are fighting really hard to stop, and the mainstream press is trying really hard to invalidate. Well, put two and two together, and I think the Convo Couch needs to go to Arizona, but they need your help. And I'm willing to help you give your help. So let's really put two and two together. Let's put 420 and 420 together. because for the next hour, anybody who donates to the Convo Couch, I will match up to the first $420. That's $840. That will get these guys gas and Airbnb and a couple of cheeseburgers. Oh, they're vegan, whatever vegans eat. Anyway, let's get this going. Let's get these guys to Arizona. Let's support election integrity, and peace out.
So there you have it, fam.
We have the best fams.
Yes, we do.
We do.
The best fams.
The best fams.
Ungi, he's in the chat right now. He is going to double the donations for the first hour up to $420, fam. Your favorite number. My favorite number, too, as well. So we really need you guys to get in there today. Share the stream. Get out there. You got a couple fazools, $2, $3. Throw it into the pot. Ungi's going to double. It's going to really help us out. Fam, I'm already on the horn with a lot of people. You know, we got John Roberts Breakey, our good friend, who's an election integrity activist, hardcore. A lot of activists around the nation know this guy. He's the audit guy. He's the guy about the ballot images, whatnot. They call it the Breakey method. I've been on the phone with him. I talked to Uncle Ron Lutters, who's done some work with Scottsdale Studios.
Yeah, it's a small
little Phoenix channel,
little
Hub
Phoenix
Radio.
Channel,
Yeah. They do radio, they do local channel stuff out there, and they're doing a really good
like
job.
The Convo Couch.
They are.
Except we don't do radio stuff.
We don't do radio. We got to do radio stuff one day. I love radio stuff.
Any radio fams out there, let us know.
I need to get my radio voice going, Johnny. Johnny on the ones and twos over here with Fiorella talking about election integrity fee. What do you got to say?
I really like radio because it's like a podcast. It's basically the same thing where you're just talking and I don't know, when I did it for KPFK, it was news, but it was like, it's almost like your voice, it's different because you have to put on like the serious, like in Los Angeles, California, yesterday, there was this attack by right-wing extremists, and you have to like, it's just so fast and like you have to be on time. I don't know. Radio's fun. Radio's cool.
By the way, Karen M is over on the YouTubes over there. She's got the link up for the Rokfin. She's got the link up for the PayPal. She's got the link up for the Streamlabs. Anything you can do, ladies and gentlemen, it helps today. We are going to do what we do. We're going to go cover election integrity. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody on the left, maybe Ben Swan, who covers election integrity in the independent media like we do. And it's so important, fam. We got to get this under control. It's a mess out there. And it's not about what we talked about when it comes to Donald Trump or Joe Biden. It's about fixing our elections properly so we can move forward and get a real democracy. So we got to do that, fam. So 100%. Please go over to the Rokfin. Let's read the really quick super raise that have come in already. There's 36 people watching. Thank you so much. Let's double that number right away. Share. It's important today. We need the help. So anything you put in will be doubled by Ungi. He'll be putting in money every 15 minutes. He's going to do it 4 times. So starting right off the bat, look at this. It's pouring in. We love you guys. Trey Wright. Trey Wright, always the first in the door. We love you, Trey. Thank you so much. It's always appreciated on the couch. Michael Castelli, the Paisans are coming on today, fam.
Paisans.
You get a little Garland Favorito, and they all start running. Kevin Shanholzer, for fee, always brave. She is brave. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Always appreciated on the couch. Our brothers and sisters in the Washington area, Seattle fams, Washington fams, Roar Media. Fantastic article. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to check out the article. It is, like I said, juicy. It is so informative, and all the answers are right there. Embled Fateh, thank you so much. Or Embled Fate. Remember when mainstream claimed Trump had the most number of lies? I'm not saying their numbers are wrong. It's just unfair that Trump was the only one they counted. Mainstream media and shill fake left media, indie media are shameful. Joe Biden had to drop out of a race for plagiarism. Oh, my God. Geography Pro, thank you so much. Pasta, check your tweet. Sent to you on former 2020 Libertarian VP Spike Cohen on 4:30. I'll check that out for sure. Spike liked to tweet about being interviewed by the leftist libertarian Pasta on activism and other topics. We'd love to see we'd love to see this interview happen if possible. Geography Pro, send it again today. So I will look to as well, and we will see what's going on.
Pasta's a libertarian socialist / anarcho-commie, but he doesn't realize it or say it, so whatever.
I am an independent-minded thinking person, fam. I will do whatever we need to do to help the poor, to get people off the street, to get people the proper health care they want, to get people the proper freedoms they deserve. I will do whatever we need to do. Enough of this predator class running shit. Holly Heim, thank you so much for the Holly Heim. Look at this for Holly Heim. It is always appreciated on the couch for the Super Ray and the Gong Girl. Here you are. Hoping it will help you dig up the truth. Here you are. Hoping it will help you dig out the truth. Dig up the truth.
Oh my God.
Gone, girl. I'm so sorry.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. That's my Brooklyn tongue getting in the way. It's always appreciated on the couch.
Brooklyn tongue.
Stephen Anthony says, get to Arizona with a beautiful tip from Stephen Anthony. Thank you so much. Old Gringo. Look who.
Old Gringo.
Old Gringo's back
Where
in the
you been?
house. Where you been? Thank you so much. And the summer of 1970 also left a nice loving tip.
Nice.
No offense, but no offenses here, okay? No offense to you, fam. Thank you so much. No offense. It's always appreciated on the couch. And M. Meridian says, thank you so much. Thank you so much, M. Meridian. We love you. We appreciate that love. And Kitteth. But it's got the Kitty. Go, fam. Love you all. Look at that. There's less than 40 people here. We got 39 people. We already got $90 there, ladies and gentlemen. $90 just like that, but we need more. We got to get to Arizona because if something goes down, fam, a carnival popped up. Did you know that?
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second. But let's get started because we have a show.
A long show.
A long show. So after this segment, Ungi will come in. He'll double it, and then we will go from there, fam. I put everything up for you.
Okay, so as you know, or as you should know, today is an International Press Freedom Day, right? Obviously, the United States should not be celebrating, or actually the West in general, not just the United States, but the UK, the European Union, these NATO-backed countries who have jailed or made a crime out of journalism. Julian Assange, of course, still sits in prison right now for exposing our war crimes and imperialism of the West. So here it is. The Canary wrote an article, as the world celebrates Press Freedom Day, Julian Assange remains in Belmarsh prison. It's really just, to me, very jarring to see us celebrate this when WikiLeaks publisher and journalist, by the way, WikiLeaks 0 retraction rate, 100% accuracy rate.
Absolutely.
And we know what we know because of Julian. We are here because of Julian, because of people who are pioneers who went forward, right? And the United States government, the Biden administration, is currently still demanding extradition for his role in publishing, of course, the cables, including these documents that were from 2009 to 2011. And of course, they were given to him by Chelsea Manning, and they were known as the Guantanamo Files, the Iraq War Logs, the Afghan War Diary, and U.S. diplomatic cables, like I said, or #Cablegate.
Yeah.
Okay. So just pointing that out because I think it's important that I think it's like almost the main idea that a lot of us today were using this World Press Freedom Day to call attention to Julian Assange because he's still in prison. Now, let's remind you what Julian Assange said. He said, "We live in a mediocrity when what is politically possible is defined by the media environment." Let's take a look at this video from WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. Which, by the way, Trump did nothing on.
Noam Chomsky, in The Common Good, wrote that the smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion, but to allow very lively debate within a narrow section of that spectrum. We live in a mediaocracy. What is politically possible is defined by the media environment. I started WikiLeaks because I understood this reality, that the media frame defines the political possibility. So to bring about meaningful change, we have to enlarge the media frame. With WikiLeaks, we've had significant successes in achieving this in some areas, but more needs to be done. The single greatest contributor to our expanding horizons is you. You telling your friends what's up, what you saw, what you believe, and who's full of it. Contrasting what appears in the Australian press to itself and to the world. You form part of the largest bullshit detecting machine that the world has ever seen. That's why WikiLeaks has such support from people exposed to the internet. That's why we have such support from this generation, because you're better informed. This is the best educated generation in the history of the world.
I like the way you pointed that out. I like the way you pointed that out, man, because a lot of people really criticize the youth nowadays and say they don't know shit, well, we know it and stuff. Actually, some people like yourselves who took all this information and data that was out there, regurgitated it, and really got educated on it. And it's just a shame that there are so many distractions. And what Julian just said right over there was just so important. You know, I mean, sorry, I didn't want to step on that, but go right ahead, fam. It's just amazing, I think. You know?
I mean, there's a lot of people, though, that are overeducated, but still don't understand how everything is connected. And we are the most educated population, but we're also the most underpaid. So that's a part of it too. Now,
true.
The one of the fucking God, I can't. The audacity of this man to really say this today. Well, out of all days in the last 24 hours, right? He's literally just a complete and total just piece of shit, okay, for lack of a better word. He said, on World Press Freedom Day, the United States continues to advocate for press freedom, the safety of journalists worldwide, and access to information and offline. A free and independent press ensures the public has access to information. Knowledge is power. How fucking dare you, you piece of shit, you warmongering sack of dog shit. Like, how freaking dare you? Like, I cannot right now. Julian Assange is in prison. We are imprisoning a lot of other people, activists, political prisoners remain. And by the way, recently, the attacks on journalism have on the ground for not just covering protests, but anything, for having a camera from the police have increased. The surveillance state has increased. We're going to go into that. All of these attacks, the censorship, the power of big tech. We do not have a free press in this country. You cannot say that with a straight face that we have a free press when you're jailing somebody for exposing war crimes. How is that a free press? We have propagandists who get paid thousands of dollars per appearance to literally lie to the American people and just push them into this whole complete alternate reality where we're the good guys and we're spreading democracy, but we're like actually herpes and we're infecting everybody and just killing everything.
I thought, fam, that's a great analogy. I thought that, though, when we beat Donald Trump, we beat back fascism. And guys like Blinken and Merrick Garland, they really was going to let Julian Assange go. No, as soon as they got back at the power, they started demanding Julian Assange get extradited to the United States so they can lick their chops and do what they want with him.
And the same thing with Trump. It's like, he was like, WikiLeaks this, yes, Assange this, and he didn't do anything about it. He didn't do shit. So again, if you're considering voting for that guy that didn't do anything against the swamp, the national security state, really, do you care about freedom?
Fam, he's only one man. What could he do?
No, he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
He didn't do the most important thing, that was letting go of Julian Assange. If you want to be for freedom of speech, you want to be for freedom of press, you should have done that. You had people like Randy Quaid, what was her name? Sarah Palin, Pamela Anderson, all these people, even conservatives going, hey, man, let go. Let free Julian Assange. Our friends over at the Duran, free Julian Assange, was wearing a free Assange shirt the other day. Conservatives wanted Julian Assange freed, and Donald Trump did not do so. Sorry. Disqualified in my mind for that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And so media release, right, put out this tweet. Hostility towards journalists is on the rise. Well, yeah, no shit. Journalists are fearful that increased harassment, abuse, and violence directed towards them during the COVID-19 pandemic could become this new normal. Hashtag Press Freedom, World Press Freedom Day. And here's the media release. World Press Freedom Day 2021, hostility towards journalists on the rise, releasing the 2021 report into the state of press freedom in Australia. Unsafe at work, assaults on journalists. The Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance says attacks on journalists increased both globally and here throughout 2020. And they have been cataloging this for 20 years. So, this is just in Australia, and they're cataloging it internationally. But what I'm saying is we're seeing this is a global thing right now because there's so much unrest, with the population, but there's also a lot of corruption in government. And of course, there is the technocratic panopticon coming in and getting us completely just reliant and crushed by big tech, especially independent media. As you can see right now, it's so important to support us, fam.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they're even trying to act like they're for freedom of press and freedom of speech. You know, we always talk about the fact that big tech gave Biden $16 million. He's their guy. You know what I'm saying? And here you got channels like YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook censoring press, censoring speech. So it's a real big joke that Blinken would put that statement out there today. It's totally disgusting, fam.
And it gets worse, fam. I'm sorry. It gets absolutely worse because apart from the censorship we're experiencing, apart from Blinken's gaslighting, the imperialism, and just the constant attacks, the Biden administration, which I thought we actually voted out fascism and we were mitigating damage, like you said, may partner with private firms to surveil suspected domestic terrorists online. Now, if we go back to January 6th, before I even go into this, right? If we go back to January 6th and we look at the freaking just disaster of a reaction from the left. Like, the left became FBI informants, CIA agents. They were cheering for police violence. They were happy Ashley Babbitt got shot. I literally got called a white supremacist for saying it is wrong that she got shot. Because I don't condone police violence on anybody. I think it's wrong. And so it's just insane to me. Now, this is why you don't become the CIA during a completely exaggerated event that they pushed as a Capitol insurrection, and because you think this is only about the alt-right and the Proud Boys. No, this is about going after all voices of dissent, anti-imperialist voices, but especially the left, because they see the left as a threat. I mean, they see like the real anti-imperialists, the people that are anti-authoritarian, as a threat. And any of these groups, and there's a lot of those groups on the left, they're gonna go after you too. So you were a fucking idiot for pushing this. And so the Biden administration is going to consider tracking extremist chatter by Americans online. And we've been seeing the crawl or the run to go in this direction. This would expand, of course, the government's ability to gather intelligence, but of course is going to draw criticism over surveillance of U.S. citizens. The Department of Homeland Security is limited as to how it can monitor citizens online without justification, and is banned from activities like assuming false identities to gain access to private messaging apps used by extremist groups such as the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Again, they keep putting in the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, but this isn't about them. They don't really see like a threat from these groups. They're just using these groups to be the meat to get everybody to agree to authoritarian crackdowns, guys. That it's just that simple. And by the way, let's remind you guys that we just covered the Postal Service's little department that's also spying on your Facebook post, your Twitter post, and all these things. How, like, look at all that's happening and tell me we don't live in an Orwellian nightmare. And they can now browse through supposed unprotected social media sites like Facebook and obviously Twitter and any other online platform. But guys, they always find ways to get your private information. How do you think you have cops showing up at people's doorsteps when they don't even use their Twitter name, their real name, their address? These companies give them information. This is happening. And
it's kind of disgusting because this is the one reason when we said, like, okay, you know, we're not going to vote for Donald Trump, but like lesser of two evils. How can you even say that Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils when he wrote the groundwork for what eventually became the Patriot Act? He's been in bed with big tech. The security state is running wild, and they are using these groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers just as an excuse to go over there and spy on all Americans. This is not something that's new. Edward Snowden showed us this years ago when they're like, oh, we're using these powers to look at China and Russia. And it turns out they were looking at American citizens at 4 times the rate they were even looking at those two countries combined. So this is, once again, we let the vampire in the door. We invited them in. And now all our water, our holy water, our garlic, everything we have against them is now useless because it doesn't work, because they've made things legal to do stuff, and they're even outsourcing the data and the information they're collecting on us. It's a very scary time, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why I am a civil liberties guy. I don't know if you guys know that out there, but this is why.
Exactly, fam. And I just want to read, Jonny, two last paragraphs from there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th and 6th paragraphs. By partnering with research firms who have more visibility in the space, the DHS could produce information that would likely be beneficial to both it and the FBI, which can't monitor U.S. citizens in this way without first getting a warrant, which, by the way, warrantless surveillance the courts are doing away with that. Or having the pretext of an ongoing investigation. The CIA and NSA are also limited on collecting intelligence domestically. It would, however, involve empowering a unit at the DHS that is already under fierce scrutiny for its bungled handling of the Portland riots last summer. An episode that including collecting intelligence reports on journalists and unmasking private citizens, according to a source familiar with this recent internal report on the matter. And of course, this is just, by the way, we just went over the post office thing. We just went over the warrantless surveillance by the FBI. We've been talking about this, trying to warn people. A lot of us in independent media have, well, a handful of us, I wouldn't say a lot of us, a handful of us have. This is disgusting. Yeah. And I just want to say that the United States is prohibited from celebrating World Press Freedom Day until they immediately release and pardon and free Julian Assange. So
the U.S. Empire.
The U.S. Empire, absolutely.
Can you like that for me there, please?
Oh, yeah,
Thank
sorry.
you so much. Need to get some likes on there. 397. Retweet that, guys. That's awesome, too. They were actually going through the banks to track people using ATMs in D.C. to go after what they consider domestic terrorist.
Exactly. That happened too. When this starts happening, you guys have to be against it, not just because it's Trumpers.
And you want to talk about China?
Yeah, seriously.
Clean our own house first.
Vanessa Beeley posted this. Press Freedom Day is an oxymoron to Western regimes. 100%. I mean, they cover up their imperialism. We talk about the U.S. Fabricated NATO-backed Syrian chemical attacks that were completely debunked. Vanessa has been on that from day one. Another tweet that I wanted to read, Glory Jones right here. We can't celebrate World Press Freedom Day while journalism is tortured in Belmarsh prison. Yeah. Free Assange. In all actuality, they're not just after me. They're after you too. And this is what's important about Julian Assange, is that they're after all of us. We are all Assange.
You have a couple more tweets. Let me load that up for you real quick.
Okay, sure.
So
yeah, we are all Assange, and again, this is like why when people say it's just one guy, no, this is like encompassing everybody. This affects all of us, whether you go to a protest and pull out your camera and you're a citizen journalist and that's what you do, or whether you're us, or whether you're fucking CNN. I don't care. It directly affects everybody who works for press freedom. Taylor Hudak said, on this World Press Freedom Day, I am thinking of Julian Assange, who published award-winning journalism and is still imprisoned for his work. So there you go, Taylor Hudak. And then we have this gentleman, Patty Manning. I like that name, Patty. My message to Joe Biden, the POTUS, on World Press Freedom Day is to bring Australian publisher Julian Assange home after a decade. Please post your own short video using Bring Julian Home. I will do that today. The president may not hear us individually, but he will hear us collectively. He's not going to care. He's a piece of shit.
Can we do a video later?
Yes, we will.
Awesome.
You do your
everybody does a separate one. I'm going to do a separate. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, do your separate. Bring home Julian Assange. Let's do it. Is that the
Bring Julian Home?
Bring Julian Home. Hashtag Bring Julian Home. Do your message today. It's important. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Can we run this one?
Yeah, let's run this one.
All right.
All right, we're recording.
2 years ago, Donald Trump had Australian publisher Julian Assange thrown into a British prison as part of his war on journalism. Donald Trump is gone, but Julian is still in prison, charged with doing the same job as the New York Times or the Washington Post. So today, I'm calling on President Biden to end Trump's war on journalism. It's time to bring Julian home.
Yeah, Biden. So if you actually want to be better than Trump, bring Julian home. Let's, appeal to his ego. They're not going to do anything because Biden is a puppet. Sarah Abdallah.
Yeah.
Nearly every war that has started in the past 50 years has been a result of media lies. Julian Assange quote. There it is.
He said, if wars can be started with lies, then peace can be obtained with the truth. That was a bad Julian Assange. I got to work on it, but But that's what he did say. He said
Pasta
that peace
doesn't-
can
isn't
be
Australian.
obtained with the truth. He said if wars can be started with
Yes,
lies, then
he
peace
did.
can be obtained with the truth. And that's the thing, too, when it comes to elections. Julian did so much because he exposed what the DNC was doing to us. It was just ridiculous. So,
Johnny, I added Stella Morris.
He's got it.
Yes, his
Who is Stella
lady.
Morris?
That's his partner.
Oh.
Okay, so she said, my reaction to Secretary Blinken and the Dominic Raab press conference on World Press Freedom Day. I'm angry because the single greatest threat to press freedom globally is the U.S. government's prosecution of Assange. The brazen hypocrisy is not just dangerous, it's completely unsustainable. Let's hear her.
Today is World Press Freedom Day. And I just watched a press conference where the UK government and the US government talked about global press freedoms and shared values in press freedom. And I'm angry because the single greatest threat against press freedom globally originates in the United States case against Julian Assange, an Australian publisher, journalist, my partner, and the father of our 2 children. And the US is prosecuting him because it doesn't like what he published, because the Washington establishment wants revenge. And the case it is bringing is saying that the US can go after any journalist anywhere in the world and prosecute them under US espionage laws, and that the protections of press freedom do not extend to them because they are not US citizens. The brazen hypocrisy is not only dangerous, but it is completely unsustainable. The US government must abandon this Trump-era prosecution of Julian Assange.
It's kind of funny because the U.S. government is attempting to extradite and prosecute a journalist who is Australian, who's not American, for doing journalism, simultaneously saying that the press freedoms don't apply to him because he's Australian. Well, if the press freedoms don't apply to him, then how do the accusations apply to him? So the United States has international jurisdiction over what a journalist does, an Australian journalist does, but also no, the rules don't apply because he's not American. It's just such bullshit. It's just disgusting
but he
bullshit.
hacked, fam. He helped hack. He helped Chelsea Manning hack
He did his
the computer.
fucking job.
And that's the argument right now. That's that he was a hacker of sorts. And, you know what I'm saying? That he also helped Russia is the other one thing. He was working with the Russians.
You know what the California Democratic Party cares about? The false accusations of sexual assault from Julian Assange. That's what the California Party cares about. That's what they denied a lot of these this petition to pardon Julian Assange and put it on the California Democratic Party. That's what they don't like.
Well, that's what the elites know. The elites know that they can use the emotions of progressives to swing them in a certain narrative.
Yep.
And when that came out there, everybody's like, "Oh hell no, no Julian, no nothing," and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? Despite
even
the
if
fact
Julian
that
Assange, even if he was guilty, which all of that, you can read. Caitlin Johnston has a great thread just with all this information debunking it, right? Even if all of that, this is about press freedoms.
Yeah.
This is about press freedoms. This I swear, I can't with those people. Malcolm X tried to warn us about this more than 50 years ago. He said the media, and usually the last part of this gets tweeted, right? The media, the media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and make the criminal look like he's the victim and make the victim look like he's the criminal. That's exactly what's happening, guys. If you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And this is true, and it's worse because now we don't have newspapers only that are in print that take forever to get there. News is slow. We have social media. We have big tech. None of us could have perceived how big this was going to be. That's why it's such a big deal.
That's why everything has changed too in the world, fam, too, as well. I have that click for you right above.
Yeah.
Everything has changed because of the tech revolution that we have, and so everything's different nowadays, and we have to adjust to today's laws. We have to adjust today's rights to what's going on today because there's so many things right now, and everybody is so confused across the board. And that's what the CIA said years ago. When everybody doesn't believe anything in the media, that's when our mission is complete, because now everybody's confused, everybody's at each other's throats, so they can control everything, and they're silencing the truth tellers like Julian Assange, and we need to stop this.
Right, and right before our next section and before we go over the Rokfin, I wanted to play this video because it relates directly to the intelligence communities that are persecuting journalists and persecuting Americans' right to a free press and to protest freely. This is the CIA. Now look how the CIA did this, right? This is video from Zell Squirrel. This is a video made by the CIA as part of the recruitment drive. Look at the language used and the t-shirt she's wearing, a literal raised fist. You can't make this shit up. They are co-opting what was supposed to be emancipatory language to enact mass murder and torture, okay? And they're tokenizing minorities, by the way, these psychopathic goons. Let's look at this.
Psychopathic goons.
When I was 17, I quoted Zora Neale Hurston's How It Feels to Be Colored Me in my college application essay. The line that spoke to me stated simply, I am not tragically colored. There is no sorrow dammed up in my soul nor lurking behind my eyes. I do not mind at all. At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Zora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional, but my existence is not a box-checking exercise. I am a walking declaration. A woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences, suggesting that a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA. My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke or slip through the cracks. I earned my way in, and I earned my way up the ranks of this organization. I am educated, qualified, and competent, and sometimes I struggle. I struggle feeling like I could do more, be more to my two sons, and I struggle leaving the office when I feel there's so much more to do. I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be. I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me, full stop. My parents left everything they knew and loved to expose me to opportunities they never had. Because of them, I stand here today a proud first-generation Latina and officer at CIA. I am unapologetically me. I want you to be unapologetically you, whoever you are. Know your worth. Command your space.
Okay.
Fam, that was beautiful.
You know what the worst part about this is that she says that she's not a walking checkbox of all these things. That's literally what she is. That is her whole point in this video. Weaponizing, tokenizing immigrants and being a first-generation immigrant. Tokenizing and weaponizing her ethnicity as a Latino woman, as a woman, as a cisgender millennial with anxiety disorder. You see this shit? Like, they are weaponizing real things that should be good and promoted genuinely when it comes to actually fighting the oppressive system we live in, the empire. Instead, she's using those weapons to continue to bring in trust and faith in the security agencies like the CIA, the most deadly, disgusting, insidious agency that is out there that has toppled governments all over the world. The reason she's fucking in this country is likely because of U.S. imperialism, and here she is licking its boot like no other, deep-throating the motherfucking boot. Like, I cannot with this shit. It irritates me the most as an immigrant when I see people like this, see these Latinos doing little fucking theatrical performances for the CIA. It really just, it hits
like
another
the slow
nerve.
motion walk across the CIA crest on the
That could be
ground.
AOC.
I mean, like walking
Like,
across.
seriously.
I don't know, Johnny. Do you have any thoughts about the new, lovable, warm-hugging CIA that's being brought to you?
Doesn't it make you want to apply, Johnny?
This 2021, the CIA, Johnny.
I think they did a really good job of showing how they get intel and information. They
expose themselves.
The what was it, the full stop thing?
Yeah,
full stop.
They don't fucking say that.
They're mimicking the language of the millennial and Gen Z.
Full stop.
That's what they're doing, dude. They want to recruit the new generation. Johnny, go apply.
Intersectional imperialism.
That's exactly what it is.
Intersectional. That's our next topic, but we got to talk about some things. You guys, anything else on this, Johnny, before we get to the next one? Fee, great topic over there. It's the new warm and fuzzy. I want to get like all a bunch of Care Bears
CIA.
with the CIA. It's intersectional imperialism. Yay. Let's get going over here on the Rokfin. 52 people watching. We got to get more over there, but we have a great start. Brian Fauch. D.C. government issues statement for businesses to require proof of vaccination, then walks it back. Yes, Brian, this is a scary time. I got my passport for my first time in my life, and I'm afraid I won't even be able to use it without the vaccine, and that I'm not getting that shit. And then Fred Edward, he put in a Finsky, and that got us to 100. So here's the first match. Ungi matches the first match. It gets to 200. But guess what, fam? Our fams strike back even harder. Reeve Barker comes in and said, hurt my back 2 weeks ago. Doctor took a week and a half to let me into the office. Now he wants an MRI. Copay is $275. Jesus. Total for steroids, blood, test, etc. is $700. This is with insurance, right? Thankfully, I have sick time and a boss that doesn't force me to come back. Fuck Kaiser. Fuck the whole system. It's ridiculous over here.
It's disgusting.
I mean, this is with insurance. This is with insurance with your copay. I mean, ridiculous. And then Joe Biden's out there bragging that all these people are back on the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Get the hell out of here. Eric Munn also left some tip. Thank you so much. Embel Fateh, we don't have a free. If we did, Russiagate would be considered a conspiracy theory. We don't have a free press.
There's no accountability.
And Biden would be in jail for arming slavers in Libya and war crimes in Iraq. And for what he also did in the Ukraine.
He wouldn't be fucking president.
He wouldn't be the goddamn president, but thank you. George Andrews left a beautiful tip and said, audit. And then Misha Key left a great tip and said, U.S. government no vale verga. Did I say that right? Vale verga?
No vale verga.
You said that better than me. Yeah. Of course you did. And then Ungi says, second match. Thank you all for who have kicked in. So he's matched the second time. So now we're up to $300. And he goes, I was $2 short. And Beverly Couch just put hashtag bring Julian home. So listen, guys. We got Streamlabs. What do we got, Johnny?
Midnight Gardener says, here's the election integrity. Love your show.
Nice.
Thank you, Midnight Gardener.
Midnight Gardener.
It's a good time to garden at midnight. Yeah.
He's going out and picking something fun.
Malik Clary.
Malik.
I haven't donated in a while because I walked out of my last job because they pissed me off, but now I know how important election integrity is to y'all and for America's sake, so keep it up. P.S. My only regret was not taking the box of donuts with me.
Malik, we love you.
Next time, take those donuts. If they're vegan donuts, of course, too, as well. That's Malik and Midnight Garter. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it starts back in right now. We still have a time to raise more money over here. So far, Ungi has matched $150. That's $300. So right now we have $6 in the till. We get that number up. If you can help us out, share the stream. We got 60 people watching on the YouTubes.
Let's get to 100 people watching, guys, on the YouTubes.
Yes. On the YouTubes, we're only at 236. Ladies and gentlemen, they have been suppressing us like crazy. Sol Constructs over there. Jack Klugman, Monarch, Summer of 1970. All our fams are over there. Doc Valiant. Get on over to the Rokfin, ROKFIN, with Super Patriot, Christian Alvarez, and Bader Meinhof. I love that name. And Star Sirius. Guys, Rokfin is where it's at. That's where we have the matching funds today. We have a bunch of people who are over there right now, 60. We want to get to 100, so help us up. Smash the like button. We got 46 up. No trolls today yet, fam, but we might have some trolls. So you just talked about the last subject right now where we have the...
It's a good segue.
It's a great segue because we have that walk across the CIA crest on the ground. The new just intersectional imperialism is here. Yay, let's go. So we have a little scoop going on over here. It's Scoop.
Shout out to Scoop Gang.
Scoop Gang. Hillary Clinton, Condi Rice concerned about Afghan troop withdrawal.
Oh, really?
Fam. Now, I just want to, before we go into this stuff real quick, I just want to say here, think about what they're doing. I think there's two things they're trying to do. Number one, they're trying to show, like, Joe is the practical one here. Even Condoleezza Rice, a Republican. Even Hillary Clinton, the last Secretary of State, and the first one under a liberal, they're concerned about what's going on. Right. They're concerned about the woman we're leaving behind.
I see two neocons right there.
Yes.
No difference.
And Practical Joe, though, is going to stay the course and pull the troops out, or they're manufacturing consent for why they're going to leave troops in there. So when they outsource it to independent groups, they privatize the troops, and now you have mercenaries who don't have to stay by the letter of the law. They can get crazy and go cray and just start chopping people's heads off and never have to pay a price. They're leaving actual psychopaths over there. But this article is also going to tell you some ways in which they're going to justify those moves. So we have to pay attention to both those things. Number one, Joe is full of shit. He is not the practical one here, even though Condi Rice and HRC want to stay there. He's still not the practical one. He was for every single war, including a surge in Afghanistan before anybody else. And number two, they're going to tip their hat and show you their card. So let's read the first couple paragraphs over here. Maybe the whole thing, because it's a small article. Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice told members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee they're worried about President Biden's plan to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan, with Rice suggesting the U.S. may need to go back, Axios has learned. I literally said that. Why it matters. The position puts two former secretaries of state from the Obama and Bush administration at odds with one of Biden's most significant foreign policy moves to date. Okay, first of all, it's not a significant move. It's kind of full of shit. Right? The date was May 1st.
It would be significant if
he pulled them out already, right? If he fully was not going to leave mercenaries behind, and he stuck to the date. Why did he extend the date? To politicize it, to give him more time to stay there. So just listen to the language of the fake press out there that gets a full reign to do whatever they want to do, as they try to frame it as one of Biden's most significant foreign policy moves. You're not getting away with that. It's pinned on my Twitter. Joe Biden was one of the first to push for a surge in Afghanistan. He was for it before he was against it. So don't be fooled. Why it matters. Okay, so let's get into a few of these things. The new president has vowed to complete the withdrawal by September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attack. U.S. forces were sent to Afghanistan by Rice's then boss, former President George W. Bush, to destroy the havens, right, used by the attack's organizers. In other words, the Osama bin Laden crew, they were hanging out in Afghanistan, even though they were from Saudi Arabia, and all the attackers were from Saudi Arabia, the majority of them. They were hanging out in Afghanistan, so that was a reason to go in there, because the Taliban was providing them cover. Clinton and Rice offered their reactions during a members-only Zoom call Wednesday to attendees, told Axios. Rice's office did not want to comment on the private briefing. Clinton's spokesperson did not respond to a request for comment. What they're saying, we had Secretaries Clinton and Condi Rice Zoom today with the committee. One committee member told Axios a little disagreement on Afghanistan, but they both agreed we're going to need to sustain a counterterrorism mission somehow outside the country. So here they go. They start talking about its counterterrorism mission. We're going to have to stay there. If we don't kill them over there, we're going to have to kill them over here.
Yeah,
they're giving you the same bullshit language they've been giving you for so many years that we have to stay there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It was a members-only Zoom call.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That is interesting. I hope somebody hacked it and puts it out there.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I take that back. Please don't kill us for that one, but who knows, it might happen. Condi Rice is like, we're probably going to have to go back amid a potential surge in terrorism, the member said. Condi Rice is like, we're going to probably have to go back. I mean, listen to the language.
Yeah.
Representative Mike McCall, a Republican from Texas, the top Republican on the committee, told Axios, with the potential for an Islamic state.
Jesus Christ.
With the potential for an Islamic state, listen to the language, coupled with what they're going to do on our contractors in Yemen and Afghanistan, is sadly, it's going to be a tragic there, and we're going to all see it coming. In other words, they're acting as if they pull back.
Yeah,
it's going to release the hounds,
terrible.
And it's going to be a bad move, and we have to stay there.
Yeah, this is what they always do. This is deja vu, guys. This is what happens every single time. This is why the idiots who are trying to say, oh, Biden's really going to remove troops from Afghanistan. On the left, by the way, all these people on the left saying, oh yeah, Biden, this is a good thing. You know why they're doing it? Because they have to prove that they were right for voting for Biden.
Yeah,
because
they're
a
still
lot
doing
of these
that.
people voted for Joe Biden. A lot of these people on the left, supposed anti-imperialists, voted for Joe Biden, and now they have to make sure that they prove to you guys that their vote was justified because Biden was going to be better than Trump. Guess what? He's not doing it. It's in fact worse because guess what? It's going to be more covert. It's going to be hidden. The mainstream media isn't talking about it. He's not saying we're going to go in X person's or X country and take their oil. We're going to go in and shoot these motherfuckers. He's not saying that, but that's what they're doing. And it's covert and it's worse. And then you have these two neocons agreeing together and from the Bush and the Obama administration, supposed opposite ends of the spectrum, right? No, they did the same thing. They continued the plan that was started by Bush into the Obama administration, into the Trump administration, and now back to the Biden administration. Do you not see the game here? It's fucking rigged.
But fam, that's two women and one woman of color, in fact. Why are we like bagging on them? And shouldn't it be a breath of fresh air that we have such intersectionalism with our empire?
Did they make a big deal about it when Condoleezza Rice was Secretary of State?
No, not at all. No. Not at all.
Because she was a Republican.
She was a Republican, so they didn't make a big deal of it and stuff and whatnot and stuff. But I mean, I can tell you this much from my living days, this was the worst administration of all time. Hearing them talk all the time, it was just awful. And then all of a sudden you had all these neo-libs backing them up. Joe Biden went on the floor of the Senate and for over an hour sold the Iraq war. And all of a sudden, he was okay about giving Bush all this credit and all this support to go into Afghanistan.
Right, because they want unity with the other side on war.
On war. They always agree on war. And family, I also have to point out the fact that you're saying that, and this is something that's really important, you still have these independent media people on the left, these progressives that are still trying to give you I want to read a couple more of those things. They're still trying to push the fact that they voted for Biden or they supported Biden to say that they're still right. That's why this piece of legislation right here, this withdrawal, is a lot of them are kind of like just grabbing on it. Well, look, here it is. He's going to release the troops. Look at this, whatnot. It's justifying their wrong vote and their wrong push to have support Joe Biden because he's worse on war, he's worse on foreign policy, he's worse on our civil liberties, and now the election shit they're twisting upside down. It was a bad choice to vote for Joe Biden, to give the keys back to the establishment rather than let them die on the branch and let them lose to Donald Trump again so you can have some real change. That's the big thing that we're missing over here because now they're back in control. The same people back in control, and that's worse than Trump 4 years. At least I feel that way. I'm just going to read the last couple parts of this real quick. Another member of the committee confirmed both Clinton and Rice raised concerns about the potential fallout from a quick removal of U.S. troops. Then again, here we go again. The quick fallout, fam. It's 21 fucking years. How is this quick? How is this quick? They've been there for 21 years. We've been there for how long? It's not quick. If we pull out tomorrow, it's 21 years. It's terrible. And it's so stupid. They also give you this thing, well, that's not safe for the troops. How is it safer to keep them in Afghanistan with the Taliban there? I don't want to get into this. Both also expressed concerns about the U.S. diplomats on the ground following the withdrawal and what the move will mean for the global war on terrorism. George Bush's war on terrorism. Yes. The background, both Rice and Clinton supported military intervention in the Middle East following the attacks on September 11, 21. That's why we shouldn't be listening to them. Rice, who was Bush's national security advisor at the time, helped craft the administration's wartime response. Another reason why we shouldn't be listening to Condoleezza Rice. Then Senator Clinton, considered by many a military hawk. I'm not considering it. She is one. Voted in 2002 to give Bush the authority to go to war, a vote she later regretted while on the presidential campaign trail.
Oh, I'm sure
no, she didn't.
It.
She's fucking lying because she's trying to fucking provide herself cover. Clinton also supported surging additional troops to Afghanistan in 2009.
While she was overthrowing regimes in democratic governments in Honduras.
Yes, it's terrible. It's disgusting. It's the intersectional fascism and imperialism, fam. Yay! It's disgusting, and I want to go into this real too because since we talked about your good boy Anthony Blinken, Anthony Blinken, who was on Sesame Street with Grover. I always like to point that out because it's disgusting to think that they would put a warmongering sicko psychopath on fucking Sesame Street, right? Please. A great article by Caitlin Johnstone She always writes some good stuff. World's most tyrannical regime can't stop babbling about human rights, because that's what it's all about, fam.
Yeah.
It's always about human rights.
That's what we care about.
I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs, and then we're going to look at his tweet, and we're going to look at some of the response to his tweets, because I'm really happy that every time this asshole puts up a tweet that's really stupid, and he puts up about a lot of them. He was putting up some tweets about Peru the other day. Really, I mean, every time he puts out a tweet, his ass gets ratioed. But let me read a little bit about the article, because I really want to lay the groundwork, which Caitlin's done. America won't back away from its commitment to human rights and fundamental freedoms, fam. We jail more people in our country than any country in the world, and now we're taking away their press freedoms and their rights online. But yeah, sure. That reads the tweet from the presidential Twitter account. No responsible American president can remain silent when basic human rights are violated. Said Julian Assange needs some help. A tweet and excerpt from the U.S. president's prepared congressional address was retweeted on Saturday by Secretary of State Tony Blinken with the caption, "We will always defend human rights at home and abroad." Like all U.S. Secretaries of State, Blinken's public statements overwhelmingly focus on the claim that other nations abuse human rights, and it's America's duty to defend those rights, which is very silly, considering the fact that the U.S. government is the single worst human rights abuser on planet Earth.
Here, here.
There is no government that is circulating the planet with hundreds of military bases and working to destroy any nation which disobeys its via invasion, proxy wars, blockades, economic warfares, stage coups, and covert operation. There is no other government on earth whose violence has killed millions of people and displaced tens of millions. Just since the turn of the century, there is no government waging nonstop wars around the world and dropping scores of bombs per day on human beings in foreign nations in order to perpetuate the iron fist domination of the planet, fam.
Wow, a great article, guys. You should go check out the article. But I mean, absolutely, we are the world's most bloody regime. In fact, in an interview with a journalist, the party from the gentleman who's running in Peru, the leftist, literally said that the United States government is the most bloodthirsty regime in the world, and they're going around and just doing what they want. We are the police of the world. This is what we do. Again, this is why when you talk about the police state, the national security state, you have to always connect it. This is who we are. There's nothing different between how we treat our citizens and how do we treat the empire, except like we pretend more with our citizens. And now look at the gaslighting from Blinken.
Yeah, and let me say this much too as well. With these regime changes, with these bombs, with these supporting dictators and fascists in other countries, this is why we have a migration problem. I argue this with a lot of Trump people all the time, and this is something they have to look at. I'm sick and tired of talking about the problem at the border. I want to talk about the problem we have intervening with all our bases, just like Caitlin Johnson said, all our bases, all our bombs, all our dictatorship, all our sanctions, all our coups. This is the reason for the cause for migration. So if you're out there and you're one of those people who want to be like, I want to protect the borders, let's start with removing our actions that us, the United States, the CIA, the deep state, whoever, the predator class, doing what they do. Let's take a look at his tweet, because I like the fact that he got somewhat ratioed. I think he's got his likes propped up a little bit. They were artificially
still pretty ratioed.
It is pretty close up there. We will always defend human rights at home and abroad. And this is from Joe Biden. America won't back down from our commitment to human rights and fundamental freedoms. We got to build back better. We got to build back better. No responsible American president can remain silent when basic human rights are violated. So let's take a look at some of their responses.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
Here's Sam. Sam is the first one, I believe. Right there. Remember this, fam? This is the basic human. This is us at Abu Ghraib, and this is in Iraq, where we promoted torture.
Yep.
We took pictures of it. We glorified it. We justified it. It was always about, we got to find somebody who's going to attack us, just like 9/11. They used that as an excuse to do that to those people of Iraq, and that is disgusting. The next one is from Land of Used to Be, right? At home, too. Look at it now. How many times have we said, fam, we're bringing our imperialism home to roost? Does that look like police officer, or does that look like a war to third world nation?
Exactly. There's no separation.
The next tweet we have from Margaret Kimberly. She's been on the show before. Did you forget that people are denied medical care in Venezuela, Syria, Iran, and other countries because of U.S. sanctions? Don't worry. I'm here to remind you. You're welcome. Let's like that tweet because it's so true, fam. We talk about human rights, right? And then we talk about the fact that we put sanctions on people. That's denying medical supplies, care for children in Venezuela, Syria, and Iran. How many children did we kill in Iraq? And we had, what was her name who said it was worth it? The Secretary of State at the time.
Are you talking about Hillary Clinton or are you talking
No. Was it Margaret Thatcher, I think? Or I can't remember. But once again, the whole administration justified the sanctions. And they killed over 1 million children in Iraq. How is that not human rights abuse when we cut off their financial means for them to get medicine and whatnot?
Madeleine Albright.
Albright, thank you so much. I get Margaret Thatcher and Madeleine Albright mixed up. Comrade Misty.
Just a bunch of warmongers.
I know, warmongers will be warmongers. She's got a good response, Conrad Misty. We love you, Julian. Give him the fingers.
Exactly.
And this next one is kind of cool, too, as well.
Oh, is it?
This is drumming for justice from nationalized Amazon. He says, imperialists say what? And it talks about, look at all the U.S. interventions since World War II. China, Syria, Korea, China, Iran, Guatemala, Tibet, Indonesia, Cuba, Democratic Republic of Congo, Dominican Republic, Vietnam, Brazil, Republic of Congo, Guatemala, Laos, Dominican Republic, Peru, Greece, Guatemala, Cambodia, Chile, Argentina, Angola, Turkey, Poland, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Cambodia, Lebanon, Grenada, Libya, Iran, Libya, Philippines, Panama, Iraq, Kuwait, Somalia, Iraq, Bosnia, Iraq, Sudan, Afghanistan, Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Iran, Libya, Venezuela. It doesn't stop, fam. That is what the dollars you spend go to. Johnny.
At Bolivia.
I would add Bolivia.
Somebody to put Bolivia on the list over there. That too as well.
Oh, and this is Redfish, which they got censored on Facebook. I'm going to show that later.
Okay. Everybody's getting censored nowadays.
Yeah.
And this is still one of my favorite memes. I love this one.
The opinionated lab.
Yeah. Look at it. There it is. I love that. That's my favorite meme. Just the straight face and then the breakout with laugh. J.K. Rowlins. That was from Spider-Man.
Yep.
But I love that meme. It's just hysterical. And you have a bonus here, right?
Yeah. Well, just to come with all the gaslighting and the imperialism, Biden still has time to tweet about how much he cares about not just citizens abroad, all over the world, but his own people. Because he said healthcare should be a right, not a privilege in America. Oh, gee, who said that? And whose language is he using? And what? Then pass fucking healthcare for all or shut up, you lying sack of warmongering shit. Like, how? And this is what these people do. Not just Biden. This is what the squad does. These progressives are like, how would $2,000 change your life? And then guess what? They don't fight back when you don't get it. Oh, how would Medicare for all change your life? What would student debt forgiveness mean to you? A whole lot of nothing unless you fucking do your job. This is just, I'm so done with this gaslighting. They're using social media to put out feel-good things, and a lot of people fall for it because they're like, look, he said it.
Yeah.
He talked about it. No, dude. What did he do during a supposed pandemic? Not give you health care. In fact, actually, it's gotten worse. And people still, even with a copay, which costs thousands of dollars, bless you, they have to still pay so much money for getting their treatments.
And the gaslighting and the lying has to stop. This guy's been lying for 48 years, ladies and gentlemen. And what are they going to do? They'll do the same thing. They'll do their just for show, their little theater of acting like it's the Republicans stopping stuff when they're working hand in hand with them. They really don't want anything that they say they want as far as progressive needs. They just want to take care of their donors and be happy. And they're bought off. They're terrible. Biden got paid like 3 times more for his campaign from Wall Street military industrial complex than Donald Trump did. Big tech, they gave him money. And real fascism is when the corporations merge with the state, and that's what we have right now. And it's a shame because a lot of people are falling for it. Yep. The mitigating damages, they're still trying to justify their voting or pushing the voting of Joe Biden. You made a serious mistake, and it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And it's about time that some of you people who are kind of out there pushing that narrative, that rhetoric, it's time you change your tune and say, you know what? My bad.
Yeah,
my B,
that's it.
Whatever, however you want to say it.
I said my B for supporting AOC.
My B. Yeah,
my B.
My B.
My B.
Johnny, anything else on that?
The last thing on this subject is that if you follow us on Instagram, everybody, get us to 10,000 so we can post links on Instagram.
Please get us on 10,000 on Instagram. It's tough.
Peak intersectional imperialism. How it started, how it's going. That's what someone posted. They're like, this is how it started, now this is how it's going. Woo!
Yeah.
But then feeds like peak intersectional imperialism.
Right, because first of all, that little girl is not Kamala Harris. That little girl was, I think her name was Ruby. She was the one that was in that case. And you're comparing an activist. She's still a lifelong activist. She's still out there fighting the good fight, to Kamala Harris, who has jailed more black people and brown people than anybody. And literally, she is being touted as this most, just the most radical VP, and the right, of course, helps with that by calling them commies, by calling her and Biden like the radical left and all that stuff. Like she's a neocon. They're neocons. They want war. They want the empire. They are against freedom and democracy.
Yeah. Johnny, anything else before we get to some super rays? Because we got some love here I got to talk about. All right, Beverly Couch says hashtag bring Julian home. That was the last one we read. Now, so we had $300 right? Was already matched. We had 150 match. So everything above 300 now, Ungi's going to match. So we got some numbers here. J9 Campbell left a huge tip, said, keep it going, fam. Thank you, J9 Campbell. You are the man. A big, beautiful, juicy one. Feel you, Fee. On these sellout Latinos. It's why I get more angry at Obama and Kamala than Trump. They block and sell out real black heroes. In your case, Latinos who help get other Latinos killed. That's by Emerald Fate. Thank you so much. Match number 3. Ungi put another 50 over there, and then he put a number 2 in there, so that's good. And he matched number 3, part 3, so he's up there. He got all those matches right here. Benny Massimo, sorry I was late. Ben Smith says, good work, guys. Thank you so much, Benny Massimo and Ben Smith. Summer of 1970, his second tip today. Thank you, Summer of 1970. The Convo Couch received a tip. JG, the Convo Couch received a tip. Thank you so much, JG. Yair Navarrete. Where have you been, Yair? We haven't seen you in a while. The Convo Couch received some love. Damon Sullivan. Also love. Benny Massimo, more love. There is no independent mainstream media. They are all paid mouthpiece for the corporate totalitarian state. Fourth match, part 1. Mike Ungi, fourth match, part 2. $10, so we got it up there. Ungi, I don't know if you're up to date on the matches, but ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going. We still have a couple more sections. We have about 20 more minutes, maybe a half hour before Ungi's done. So let's go over there and get it done. 74 people watching, 279 on the YouTubes. Guys, get over to the Rokfin, R-O-K.
Share the stream.
F-I-N. Johnny, you got a section coming up. So Johnny, just jump right into it.
Yes, fam, and I'm excited to cover this because the other day, fam, it was May Day, May 1st. And so I'm just going to start with a few tweets here. And we are going to get started. So, fam. It was May Day a couple days ago.
Yep.
So here's some marches I saw on social media. So here's May Day in Paris is from Jake Hanrahan here. And someone above it says, this could be us, but you're in the DSA.
Oh!
Look, I got comments for it.
Slayed. Destroyed.
Look at that. That's really what we need.
Tear gas. Throwing tear gas.
That's like war techniques.
They actually go toe-to-toe with the police these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not great.
Hey, Johnny, I bet you didn't know this. Maybe you did, but there was a letter written from some French journals, French generals that were writing a letter and saying if Macron doesn't get his crap together, there's going to be a real revolution and a real change of government.
Yep.
Like, literally, they warned him, like, you better stop with your shit, your globalist mentality, because it's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
So here's some more, some footage I saw from Paris. So, May Day was a global event thing, so here's some footage from Paris.
Wow. They don't look happy.
One of the things I was reading as to why people are protesting is the lockdowns, but also the neoliberal policies of Macron, and also the immigration issue that they have. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of non-partisan or cross-partisan. They also defend the yellow vests, saying that the yellow vests are being persecuted. So it's interesting. It's like these generals were talking about how they're afraid of this invasion from these Islamic extremists, at the same time saying we need to protect the yellow vests, at the same time saying we don't want, we need to listen to the people, and then the people are protesting the lockdowns and the neoliberal policies. So it's like a mishmash of things.
Yeah. But it all leads back to the fact that they have all these wars and they have a migration problem now on their shores because everybody's coming over from Libya, Syria, whatnot and stuff.
Exactly.
So now they don't even feel comfortable who's coming in their country or what's going on, and it can be really twisted in a certain way. But that's what it's all about. Like, stop with the fucking war. France has backed a lot of these wars. Stop with the war, and then you won't have to worry about these issues.
So here's just some more general footage going on. Listening to music. It's a lot of the youth out there, French. You know, this is a French publication on YouTube, so I found some stuff I haven't seen before. You know, I didn't know that. Of course, there's French, media on the ground. So I was just kind of showing the ins and outs. There's more. This is a longer video from the footage we just saw, and I'm just showing a little bit here.
If you're a Paris or a French police officer, you got to be like thinking about quitting at this time. You're like, enough is enough with this shit. Like, they're out in the streets almost all the time. The Western media is trying to keep it silent and stuff like that. But when do you say, that's it, I'm turning in my police outfit, I'm going to join the other side, because it's just getting to a point where it's like, hey, enough is enough.
They're more likely to do that than we are.
Arresting some people.
Vive la France.
So yeah,
it's France.
I'm just showing that a little bit in France, but fam, it's not a monolith.
No, it's not.
The French are not a monolith either, and I just want to show this because, I just want to show that there is, in any protest, and there's always going to be events where there's things that are contrary to what's happening. So in Paris, the CGT trucks got attacked, and I'll explain what CGT are, but let me just show you this.
Wow.
Vous êtes des fascistes! C'est ça? Vous êtes des fascistes? C'est qui les fachos? C'est qui les fachos? C'est vous les fachos? C'est toi le facho? C'est toi le facho? C'est la France qui vient de c'est qui les fachos? Il y a une femme dedans, il y a une femme dedans, il y a une femme. Il y a une femme dedans, les potes.
I know what that's like. Johnny, what's going on over here?
Okay, so the CGT is the General Confederation of Labor in France. Mm-hmm. They're the second largest in membership numbers. The National Trade Union Center in France, the second largest. And according to the historian, I use Wikipedia, and according to the historian, Dreyfus, the direction of CGT is slowly evolving since the 1990s, during which it cut all organic links with the French Communist Party in favor of a more moderate stance. The CGT is concentrating its attention, in particular, since the 1995 general strikes, to trade unionism in the private sector, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked up
Kind of sounds like
the current general secretary of the CGT is Felipe Martinez, and he seems to have a decent track record. Under Martinez's chairmanship in 2017, the CGT became the second most important union in the private sector after the French Democratic Confederation of Labor. However, it remained the largest union in small businesses and in the civil service, and therefore remained the largest organization among all wage earners. Under Martinez's direction, the CGT organized a 36-day strike in the first semester 2018 against the government's reform plans of the SNCF, which I'm not sure what that stands for. But a 36-day strike is a pretty crazy, right?
So why are the people attacking the trucks?
So one more thing before I give you my theory.
Okay.
On that is the Martinez also, he supported Macron in 2017 against Le Pen, right?
Which, yeah.
She's
a right winger.
Okay, so Le Pen was a total right winger. So it'd be like if
Trump versus
Biden. Trump versus Biden, right?
Yeah.
Because Macron, would you say he's pretty neoliberal, right?
Oh yeah,
very
he's
neoliberal.
terrible.
He's a neoliberal. He's a globalist.
Yeah. So he said, I want Marine Le Pen to score as low as possible.
It's the same shit. Yeah.
And the Macron score as high as possible. It's a default vote, green clear. We say no voice for the FN, which is probably that right party, and we encourage citizens to go and vote. So
he made a deal with Macron and backed Macron.
He backed Macron, basically.
Instead of Mélenchon. But
right.
Yes.
So I just wanted to kind of go through all that. In France, there are various lefts in the government, so interesting that they attacked the CGT van. Maybe it was in the way. Maybe the van was in the way. Maybe the youth are just in that mob mentality.
Right.
Maybe there are infiltrators who know. Who knows? Maybe they're infiltrators.
Maybe they're pissed off that they sold out to the neoliberals.
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah, that's crazy, John.
I don't know. That just happened, and that was part of the May Day stuff.
There's a lot of things underneath that are going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, last note for France, for Paris, was that Mélenchon was there, and he was there at the protest. So.
Of course, he's there marching with people. Jean-Luc
Mélenchon.
Mélenchon.
And he said, I have a wish to make for the working class, the employees, the workers, the humble people who live only from their work and who hope to live with dignity for them and their children, that I come to see you in 2022 as president of the Republic. So he's going to be running.
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah.
So keep him in mind.
Yeah, let's keep him in mind. Let's go to France.
So that's what happened in France.
They have Fugazi elections over there, too. I heard they got proprietary software in a lot of their machines as well, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sure. If I could examine everyone's fucking software, that'd be amazing. So here's back here in Los Angeles, Abolition Andy covered the May Day protest over here in LA. You can see it's pretty big. There's a lot of working class there. There is a Build Back Better with unions past the PRO Act thing by some people here. It looks like they're not really they're a little different than the rest of the organization. Again, not a monolith. And if the PRO Act was passed the way it was now, it's pretty good, right?
No.
It's okay. It doesn't reverse what prevents a wildcat strike.
It actually, it gives the executive branch power to stop that.
Yeah. It's giving the executive branch more power.
And it doesn't define an independent contractor properly. People like Ungi, who's doubling the tips today, or like not down for that, you know what I'm saying? It tries to push people away from the problem by making just a radical solution that might not work. You know what I'm saying? Just because you want to build unions, you want to build the right unions, and you don't want to just cut a gig economy, even though we really shouldn't be in a gig economy. It is the 21st century. We have to find a different way out of it. We have to come to the table, and we have to classify people properly. The PRO Act has way too many, what do you call those when you have little poison pills in it that really just can affect the whole situation.
It's just very general in its language.
It's not the final solution at all.
Right. So there was Abolition Andy there, and then Strawberry Fields. Actually, I caught some of the footage there.
Hey, Strawberry Fields, how are you doing out there? Hope you're doing well.
So that was going on over there. So there was a lot of marches. Also in northern Italy, it looks like protesters in northern Italy clash with law enforcement.
I don't know about the northern.
That's the better
Italians
Italy.
over
No,
there.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What do we got there? Where's that?
That was 3 years ago. City Hall, May Day protesters. That's where they all convened. They all went to City Hall and marched to City Hall, basically.
Was that last year or this year?
This is this year. This was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Saturday.
they all convened. There was a lot of people there at City Hall.
Oh, nice.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Is that Gavin? Yeah.
Look, they made Gavin like the serial killer.
Gavin McFucker.
Psycho.
A lot of people, American Psycho. They said he looks like the American Psycho.
Even I've seen even some progressives saying, "Fine, recall Gavin unless he gives us health care." That's again, we said that from the beginning, guys. We said you need to try to get him to pass something. Now it's a little late. This is okay. I thought this was. Is this a Gavin, recall Gavin?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think
okay,
so.
So that's weird. That was on
I was
May,
like, I
that
don't
was
think
on May 1st too. That was on May 1st too. So that's interesting.
They took advantage of it.
That's
they
interesting.
Took advantage
I
of
know. The May Day parade that we saw also went to City Hall, but they also went to the police. What's it called? The police station right there.
Interesting intersection.
Yeah, no, that's. I didn't even know about that. Yeah. Okay. I know Seattle went off. There's just a bunch of
Seattle. What up, Roar Media?
Fams, we need to
Shanda,
occupy
Amber, and crew.
Bezos. All the Bezos buildings in Seattle. There's a lot.
Here's your Rupley one.
Where was this?
This is Portland.
Wow.
They said May Day protests turned violent in Portland, but it looks like they were burning some stuff.
We know that area. We've been in that area.
Yeah, we've been there. Burning a couple things. There's mailboxes actually.
The
mail.
They get a little cray-cray over there.
The mail. The mainstream media.
Wow, look at them burning that shit up there. That's crazy.
I'm not saying CNN buildings should be burned at all, but if they are collateral damage, that's unfortunate.
Here comes the police moving in.
I mean, the military is allowed to be like, well, that's just collateral damage when people get killed and bombed, right? So
arresting people.
The burning of the...
Oh, they declared it a riot. We gotta hear it here.
It's considered a riot.
Whoa.
This assembly is considered a riot. All persons must leave the area near Southwest Main and Park immediately.
So it's just interesting now with what Florida passed. Other states are passing similar bills. So now if the police do declare something a riot,
that's it.
You're fucked.
You're done.
Yeah. But you know what? What also happened on May Day, fam? Joe Biden made it
Uncle
Loyalty
Joe.
Day. He proclaimed Loyalty Day.
I saw Misty's tweet.
And she had middle fingers up, and she says,
that's how I feel right
she
now.
shows a screenshot from the White House.
Joe Biden, Jr., President of the United States,
Jr.
Malarkey, do hereby proclaim that on May 1st, you know the thing, 2021, as Loyalty Day. This Loyalty Day, I call upon the people of the United States to join in this national observance, display the United States flag, and pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands. That's a Loyalty Day.
Wait a minute. If a Republican said that, can you imagine how the left would react?
Yep.
He sounds like a neocon. He is a neocon. This is
That's
what I
a
mean,
nationalist
guys.
statement.
He is talking about professing your loyalty to the flag. Where, like, how is that different from anything Donald Trump has said about the flag? Please tell me how the fuck is that different? Because I'm having a really hard time here. I may not be that smart. Can somebody explain to me how that's different? I don't know.
Well, it's apparently it's not a new thing, fam. We give Biden too much credit. He didn't think of it, Yeah. It's not a new thing. But really quick, here's the proclamation, the official one. I just wanted to show the official one where Misty got that screenshot from. We see loyalty in the members of armed forces who selflessly serve. So May 1st is also and all those. To acknowledge the American ethos of patriotism and sacrifices.
Oh, the sacrifices. You mean all the 2 million plus dead Iraqis?
Yeah. The Congress, by public law, as amended, has designated the first day of May each year as Loyalty Day.
They were wasting time to even take a freaking vote on that shit.
So no, it was voted on a long time ago. So
wow.
So somebody said, here's a comment. Winnie Webb was like, Loyalty Day sounds like a holiday Pinochet would have dreamt up. And then someone said, so he turns an international day of celebration for workers into a fascistic holiday that would make Hitler blush. And I was like, damn. So I like those comments. And then I saw also someone said, it is creepy, but is not new. First proclaimed in 1958 at the height of the Red Scare and reaffirmed each year. Look it up. Will it become more than a proclamation that few notice? So shout out to Alice for making that comment, because I had no idea that this was a thing. You look up, here's my DuckDuckGo search, and you click on this PDF, and here it is. So here's the original one, joint resolution, July 18, 1958, resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the first day of May of each year is hereby designated as Loyalty Day, is to be set aside as a special day for the reaffirmation of loyalty to the United States of America and for the recognition of the heritage of American freedom.
So every year they've been just reaffirming it pretty much?
Yeah, every president. So Obama did it, Trump did it. We didn't notice it. It was weird.
No.
I had no idea.
It's a proclamation, right?
Because we live in a simulation.
So
it's a resolution.
They made it basically a national holiday. And
off.
So I just wanted to show that.
Empire.
The Congress approved it, and that was at the height of the Red Scare. So the LA Times actually told some truth when they wrote about it for Obama. Not to be a downer, but here's a reality check on Loyalty Day. So here's a screenshot. We find nothing to quibble with that aspirational view of the nation, but the history of Loyalty Day itself is not so admirable. First celebrated in 1921 as Americanization Day, it arose in response to the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and growing radicalism in a swelling U.S. labor movement.
Right, exactly.
Bolshevik, yeah. Mm-hmm. Congress formally recognized Loyalty Day in 1958. You saw that when Cold War era anti-communist fervor led to a hunt for suspected subversives that cost countless leftists their jobs. The Red Scare, who was that? Wasn't that
McCarthy?
McCarthy.
Yes.
McCarthy. That's why they were
FBI director, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. Prompted prosecutions for political beliefs, led governments to require employees and job seekers to take loyalty oaths, and propelled inquisitions by the House Un-American Activities Committee. There's no coincidence that Loyalty Day falls on May 1st, or May Day, a celebration of workers around the industrialized world, observed on the anniversary of the 1886 Haymarket Square incident in Chicago, when 4 people were executed. On the strength of murky evidence that they killed 8 people, 7 of them police officers, during a labor rally for the 8-hour workday.
So I just want to say it's no coincidence, because if you look at the study of communism or the study of socialism, you look at what it means. It's all about empowering workers. That's the base of it is empowering workers. Yeah. What Fred Hampton started preaching was workers of the world, international proletariat class against the empire need to unite. That's the whole basis between of specifically Marxist-Leninism. It's about the workers. And so when you had neo-McCarthyism at that time, the labor movement was also attacked. And the leftists, any leftist, by the way, or anybody that didn't even profess communism, right? We're talking about people who were artists who spoke against the empire and against the rapid industrialization. You have Charlie Chaplin, and a lot of his silent films, if you view them, were very, very anti-imperialist and anti the technology of the day, not because they didn't want to progress, but because they saw the incoming of that just crushing the workers. And that is particularly why this is telling, because when you go and you become a citizen, and I'll repeat this, when you become a citizen of the United States, I had to pledge to not follow anything to do with communism.
Yes.
And they can take
you got affiliated with the Communist Party.
Away.
Yeah.
You cannot be affiliated with the Communist Party.
I ask you, are you affiliated in any way with the Communist Party?
And I think we have to go back, and another movie I'm thinking about is Good Night and Good Luck. But Edward R. Murrow and the fights he had against the McCarthyites, and McCarthy, the congressman, I think it was a junior congressman at the time. It's a really telling story. Go ahead, Johnny. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So just lastly, I just want to show a little bit of history of May Day. The LA Times article spoke a little bit about it. But
the Times actually spoke a little truth about it too back then. So basically, they're like, oh, what is it? Celebrations on May 1 have long had two seemingly contradictory meanings. On one hand, May Day is known for maypoles, flowers, and welcoming the spring. On the other hand, it's a day of worker solidarity and protest. The U.S. observes its official Labor Day in September. Many countries still will celebrate Labor Day on Monday. This is an old article. So how did it happen? So here they say Time summed it up in 1938. Basically, May 1st, 1886 labor action wasn't just any strike. It was part of what became known as the Haymarket Affair. On May 1st of that year, Chicago, along with other cities, was the site of a major union demonstration in support of the 8-hour workday. The Chicago protests were meant to be part of several days of action. On May 3rd, a strike at the McCormick Reaper plant in the city turned violent. The next day, a peaceful meeting at the Haymarket Square became even more so. So here's how they summed it up. I'm going to the actual link here, and it's their archives. You know, maybe Times in 1938 wasn't so bad, fam, because they tell the story here.
No, they weren't as bad before.
Yeah.
So right here, it's titled Rebel. A few minutes after 10 o'clock on the night of May 4 of 1886, the storm began to blow up in Chicago. As the first drops of rain fell, a crowd in Haymarket Square in the parking house district began to break up. At 8 o'clock, there had been 3,000 persons on hand, listened to anarchists denounce the brutality of the police and demand the 8-hour day. Again, this is 1886, 8-hour day. But by 10, there were only a few hundred. The mayor, who had waited around in expectation of trouble, went home and went to bed. The last speaker was finishing his talk when a delegation of 180 policemen marched from the station a block away to break up what remained of the meeting. They stopped a short distance from the speaker's wagon. As the captain ordered the meeting to disperse and the speaker cried out that it was a peaceable gathering, a bomb exploded in the police ranks and wounded 67 policemen, of whom 7 died. The police opened fire, killing several men and women and wounding 200, and the Haymarket tragedy became a part of U.S. history. It broke the careers of most of the men who had anything to do with it. 8 anarchists were tried for murder, and although it was never determined who threw the bomb, 4 were hanged. 3 got life, and 1 committed suicide. In 1893, the 3 who got life were pardoned by the pale, homely, contradictory John Peter Altgeld, governor of Illinois, prison reformer, idealist lawyer, wealthy real estate operator, and builder of one of Chicago's first skyscrapers. So they kind of go into what happened to the other 3 who were, who got pardoned. He pardoned them. So
post-death, right?
Yeah, this is in 19. They wrote this in 1938. So, last week, Algott's story was told in a 496 volume, which gave the governor's reasons for his act, showed its consequences, not only in his career but in the history of the populist movement. The irony of Algott's life was that he was not a rebel until his enemies made him one. Then he became one of the most effective dissenters in the country. Born in Germany of peasant stock in 1847, he was brought up to the U.S. when he was 3 months old, a circumstance that kept him from being the populist candidate for president. With his health permanently weakened by fever contracted as a Union soldier, he wandered to the West, became a lawyer, and settled in Chicago in 1875. He married a childhood sweetheart, written a liberal study of prison reform, and served as a judge when he won the governorship. For Altgeld, the essential factor about the Haymarket case was that the anarchists had not had a fair trial. Jurors had frankly admitted prejudice, and the record showed appalling contradictions. But when Altgeld said so in an 18,000-word pardon, he was damned as a murderer, a communist, a demagogue, a foreigner, an anarchist, a thief, a liar, a madman, a knave, a fool, a bomb thrower, a narrow, and a coward. Never in the U.S. history, says Arthur Bernard, had a man been assaulted in the press so fiercely and irrationally. The vituperation went on for months, increasingly hysterical, until Algott was all but broken by it. The usual report has been that Algott never recovered from this verbal bombardment. Barnard's account, however, is that after being dazed and bewildered, the governor sadly began to fight with the savagery of a man who has nothing more to lose. When Cleveland, this is President Cleveland at the time, sent federal troops to Chicago during the Pullman strike of 1894, going over Altgood's head, the governor had taken more than he could stand. He became a cool and personal, relentless political strategist, controlling the Democratic Party convention in 1896, maneuvering so skillfully that his enemies were thrown into panic. And after Bryan's defeat, when the populace were exhausted and demoralized, he was almost the only leader who kept going, launching another attack on monopoly vested interest in Wall Street, and as if unaware that his side had been licked. When he died in 1902, newspapers that had attacked him begrudgingly given him his due. So basically, I just brought that up because of this part, because he was somebody that was fighting monopolies, vested interests in Wall Street, and this is in fucking 1896, and we're still dealing with this shit, basically.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, and I got lost last night in all these stories.
Johnny Rabbit Hole.
I started to look up Cleveland, President Cleveland, and on the Wikipedia, they say, oh, he was for civil liberties. He's very liberal, but then why did he do that Pullman strike thing, right?
To crush the Because that's the whole thing too, as well, is they always wanted to control labor in this country, and I think the move against to be anti-communist was not really about the Red Scare. It's about labor. It's about labor. Crushing labor and workers, whatnot, and that's what it's all about. Because they always want to make sure that they're your daddy, and not the people be their own daddy.
Exactly. They don't want people to unite as workers, or realize that without the workers, this country is nothing, really. And so they have to keep a hold of you. And this is why the Democratic Party is essential. The establishment, too, like the Republic, both of them are essential in co-opting workers' movement, saying they back unions, saying they support unions. Leadership does not mean that they back the actual workers on the ground.
And showing that the media playing their games in the late 1800s, still playing their games now. It's the same playbook, ladies and gentlemen. We can stop this. We can break this and stuff like that. We can change this if we want. We know what they're going to do because they're doing the same thing they were doing 200
Except
plus
it's
years
much
ago.
faster because of the technology.
The technology. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm reading all this stuff, and I'm like, history's repeating itself.
So
really quick, I'm just showing everybody where you can find the proclamation, right? uscode.house.gov. That is the resource. I show the raw resource so you can know the United States Code. This is the code of law. This is the law. This is the law, general and permanent laws of the United States, the law of the land, right? You can go here and go through it all. So basically, it's over here. It's Title 36, Patriotic and National Observances, Ceremonies and Organizations. Chapter 1, Patriotic and National Observances. And then you find it over here, Loyalty Day, 115. It's still as law.
It's a loyalty day, guys.
May 1st is Loyalty Day. Purpose, Loyalty Day is a special day for the reaffirmation of loyalty to the United States.
They want to see you pledge your allegiance.
And then C, part of the law, proclamation. The president is requested to issue a proclamation calling on U.S. officials to display the flag on all government buildings, and then inviting people of the U.S. to observe Loyalty Day with appropriate ceremonies in schools and other suitable places.
I mean, that could be Donald Trump doing the same thing. I mean, it's just, there's no...
He's a nationalist.
They've been doing it since Eisenhower. So,
Again, there's no difference.
Cryptic nationalism.
I really wanted to bring all this up because, I did not know about May Day they never taught me May Day back in high school.
Of course they didn't.
In university, I took, I didn't take any history classes. I took AP history in high school. But, if Joe Biden was really for the working class, to the neoliberals, that's what they're saying, right? That's what they try. He's not so bad. They're trying to make excuses for him. He would
get rid of it.
He would get rid of this proclamation, or he wouldn't do the proclamation.
Yeah.
A true leftist will not do this proclamation, even though it's small, right? Even though it's a resolution, even though it's like a thing. For me, even though it's a simple resolution, it's the propaganda and normalization
and the
of
history
Loyalty
behind
Day
it.
Oh, yeah.
That is important to combat. They made a federal holiday out of it, instructing schools to make a big deal about it. This is empire education.
Right.
This is a prime example of empire education. I had
idea about
May Day.
This is why some people are not against defunding public school education. I'm not for that. I'm saying we should have it. But at the same time, this is why people are taking their kids out of school, too.
Yeah.
Not just people on the right, but people on the left, because they're like, wait a minute, why are they teaching my kids? If I had kids, I would have sent them to school. What are they getting taught here? What exactly are they getting taught?
I know. How about all these people who talk about what's the difference between nationalism and racism, right? All that time. Been saying that for so long under Donald Trump. He's a nationalist. Nationalists are racist. So is Narendra Modi. So are all these people and stuff. Well, here's Joe Biden putting the same shit out there. I mean, hello.
And Obama did it too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess we're, it's a different type of racism,
no,
I
just
guess.
One uses better words than the other. One's more covert than the other. That's it.
Johnny, what else we got on May Day?
I just want to say that, until a true leftist gets into office, the working class needs to step up and hold general strikes like they did back then.
Until we get a representation that we should get which isn't going to happen in the system we have, you have to then first demand it.
Yeah.
Power concedes nothing without demand. You have to demand that. Look at these people. They were out on the streets fighting for what? An 8-hour day. People here are out in the streets for symbolic gestures most of the time.
Yeah.
We need to change that. We need to be out in the streets for economic reasons that are impacting the working class instead of getting lost in, oh my God, this person wore a pussy hat. This person said something racist. This person, like, let's get out in the streets for the economic abuses.
No, fam. First we got to do is we got to handle racism first. Once we fix racism, then we can fix economic issues.
It's all part of this. It's all intertwined, you guys. It's all intertwined.
Yeah, so, hundreds of thousands of people did not go to work for days.
Yep.
For days, but people can't do that anymore.
In the 1800s, when you're like, you ain't getting water.
Yeah, I know, right?
You were really restricted back then. We don't go to work for some days. We got to cancel our Netflix, maybe, or we can't order out as much.
To normal.
Yeah,
Build back better.
Build back better.
And so, fam, I think the best way is for new ideas. I don't know. Personally, I want to change the 8-hour workday.
Yeah.
What if
6 hour?
I think 8 hours is too much.
Yeah.
We need a 6-hour workday.
Damn.
And only 4
days
times
a week.
Yeah.
Yes. They have that in somewhere. I forget where.
And paid vacation.
They have siesta in
help
Spain.
out. You know what I'm saying? If the government hands out all this money for war, why can't they hand out all this money to help laborers?
They got money for war, but they can't feed the poor.
It's terrible.
Exactly. And a livable wage.
And a livable wage. Here's the thing, Johnny. We'll get none of that until we get election integrity. But once we get election integrity,
that's why I'm hard on election integrity.
And we won't get election
that's
integrity
why I'm hard on it.
because we don't have fucking free media that does the right thing. We have intelligence agencies. We don't have a fair system. So we're not going to get that either unless we're out in the streets fighting for it.
And they censor the fucking people who are covering the shit.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And they prop up the people who are demonizing it.
They espouse lies
on
the mainstream
media. Espouse a lot of
literally lies.
Lies. It's all lies. Bring in the laser. Okay, so we're wrapping this up with the matching them. We good on this subject, guys?
That's it.
Yeah,
all right.
Great,
thank you, Johnny.
Great
subject. I mean, damn. Fucking going to talk about Grover Cleveland. I love it. 1800s. Wow. Great section, Johnny.
Same fights, guys.
Johnny Sue bringing it down there. Johnny Rabbit Hole. Ungie gets the fourth part of the match, $20. The fourth part of the match, part 2, he owed $1. He owed one more $1. So we had Snorky Y2K came in and said, oops. Here's some more. Left a great tip. Thank you so much. Jair Navarrete left another great tip. The Gone Girl, Arizona. Here you go. Ungie, the 5th and final match. Well done, fam. He threw in a 50 spot. Kamshwari Kate, Governor Rick Snyder's first action as a governor. Michigan was to remove murals of labor in the state house. Wow, Governor Rick Snyder. And you know what? He endorsed Joe Biden. They got a lot in common. Mona Love, Pasta Fee, and Johnny. Keep up the amazing work. It's greatly needed and appreciated. You definitely inspire me.
It's always appreciated on the couch.
Kim Schwari, Kate, Mona Love. You don't know how much we love you. We talk about you all the time.
We love you guys.
And then Dr. Dragon comes in and lays a 50 spot down.
Dr. Dragon.
Boom. Guys, that's it for Ungie. He did a lovely thing today. Thank you, Mikey Unguliter. We love you, Ungie. He helped us out. He matched up the tips for the first hour. Dr. Dragon came in, left a cherry right on top. Thank you to all who participated today. That is awesome. $633 in tips there on Rokfin. That's our highest day by far. We couldn't have done it without you guys. You're amazing. And we are going to go to Arizona. We're going to kick butt. I was just getting a call from Uncle Ron Lutters, who's got a show out there in Phoenix. We talked about it. We're going to make some arrangements. He's going to get me in touch with some state representatives.
Can't wait.
We're going to go do this because this is what we do, and there's a lot to expose on the election integrity front.
Nobody's covering this like we are on the ground from the left. I mean, I know Ben Swan does a great job of covering elections in general, and he's the only other person. I don't even know if he's on the left or not, to be honest. But we are. I mean, our viewpoints are right, but we always cover the truth above anything, right? And so this is what we can talk about just all the time. We could talk about with anybody. We could talk about the chain of custody, the audits. What is the difference between a logic and accuracy test and a real audit? This is historic. There's never been an audit of this type done. That's why I was asking Pasta. I was like, define an audit and then define this audit, because this audit is different, right? Like this, there's different things, and they're trying to gaslight people into making this to be a bad thing when we should want transparency. Again, if you want to restore faith in the system, show people that there's nothing to fear. Instead, they are gaslighting. And then the last few days, they have had the Washington Post make articles. They have had the New York Times make articles, the Nation, all of these people coming together to try to tie this to the January 6th events and these insurrectionists, to try to pretend that this is about Donald Trump. This is about election integrity. And that's it.
Yeah. And like I said, I did the interview with Gavin Favorito this morning. He's over in Georgia. He's friends with a lot of the people who are doing the audit in Arizona, and things are just turned upside down when it comes to our election systems. And if you learn about our election systems, and everybody needs to do that, because they had a little little rally kind of online thing yesterday and stuff. They had a technical nightmare, Johnny. I wanted to call you. I'm like, Johnny, can you help these fucking people out?
Oh my God, it was terrible.
It was terrible. But
What was it?
It was like an online thing. It was a protect the vote or protect the union and stuff. But let me tell you something, Johnny. They started off with election integrity activists, Mrs. Tarver from Michigan. They had some of their pattern analysis and stuff. They were teaching people. They were educating people. And I was saying to myself, wow, they are kicking the left's butt here. We should have been doing this stuff from the get-go. Once Bernie Sanders got cheated in 2016 and a Democratic lawyer said, we can go into the back room, fill a cigar smoke, and pick whoever we want, we should have planted our flag right there and said enough is enough. Keep educating people on elections, because it's going to come back and it's going to hurt us. Garland Favorito said to me today, he goes, it's so crazy because the last 15 years he's been battling and fighting with progressives, with people of the likes of Cynthia McKinney, with progressives. He's been fighting about election integrity. The right didn't care about it. Now all of a sudden Donald Trump gets cheated, right? Or suspected cheated. And all of a sudden they're educating themselves and they're taking the bull by the horns. Really? You know what I'm saying?
Meanwhile, the progressives are calling us right-wingers for merely even covering this and talking about it. That's the kind of shit cartoon simulation that we live in.
Yeah.
We live in a fucking cartoon. Shout out to Steve Poikonen.
Steve Poikonen. Denny McCartney left Afinsky. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. And Ungi said one more match for the hell of it. Threw in another C-No on top. We're at $742. This is awesome, guys. Christopher Dobby joined in and said thanks. Glenn Combs came to the party. I love the couch. I'm one old dude that craves the truth, and we're one young folks that are willing to give it to you. So let's just really wrap up really quick the show and talk about what's exactly going on in Maricopa. Just showing a few things because things have really heated up. But Fam said the local news we showed you on our last show won't stop attacking. We showed you they were walking around the stadium saying these are security briefs. I think the ex-secretary over there, not Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, but the registrar, the guy who was running the elections, was talking about the way he was comparing the people doing the audit to the January 6th insurrectionists, and they're still doing it and stuff like that. So here, Bram Resnick says, I recall in 2012 when the Secretary of State, Ken Bennett, who's actually the liaison running this elections office, provided daily post-election updates on 600,000 uncounted ballots. Why isn't Bennett doing the same here? How many ballots have been counted? How many have been set aside? And the Maricopa County audit page just replied underneath, this is an audit, not an election. Stop trying to confuse the public. They're trying to gaslight everybody in the public to act like they've had audits before, which they haven't, to act like these people are insurrectionists. And they're also doing this. The next thing they're doing, they're questioning the money, because a lot of people are saying, oh, this is costing taxpayer dollars. No, there's public funding. They've taken donations to go and fund this audit. What are they trying to hide is a great question to the public about your donors. Care to release those? And he talks about, good morning, many political groups have been trying to shut down this audit, but the audit continues. What are they trying to hide? To support or to audit, donate, here's fund the audit and stuff like that. I'd like to know, fam, all these Democratic lawyers that are coming out of the blue that cost thousands of dollars an hour, who's funding them to fight back against this audit? And why is an audit so bad? Why, if you were so confident that Joe Biden won the election,
actually,
audits should be mandatory. Audits should be automatic.
No-brainer. Yep.
They are not automatic. They are not mandatory. They are not real audits half the time. They're logic and accuracy tests, which just show you the machine's working at the time they tested. They're spot audits, maybe 1%. Johnny, you observed the LA audit this time, the 1%. Can you explain some of the fugaziness about it? Because really in an audit, what you're supposed to do is they're supposed to say, okay, they're supposed to put the numbers aside, you do the audit, and they match them. In fact, they were waiting for the auditors to do the numbers first and then release their numbers after. How screwed up is that? Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, so I mean, I wrote a whole article about it back in November 16th, so y'all can check that out on Medium, Jonathan Mayorka at .medium.com. But, you know, I'm just gonna read what I had here. So, first of all, I wasn't ready on the day I was supposed to be ready.
Exactly.
And then, you know, we were just waiting there. We were outside.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
They told us, you know, it's going to take a few hours. And then like, we left, and then we already started. And so stuff like that.
We experienced that when we went for the logic and accuracy test.
Exactly. So for the 1%, you know, they said they were setting up and did not give a time as when they would be ready. I'd been including that the setup is important to watch. So I asked the staff if I could watch the setup while they contacted one of the election officials. And then I saw a white van pull up, and then you can go into that. And so basically, I was told by Gomez they probably wouldn't be ready to perform the 1% manual tally until Monday. I later found out the 1% manual tally started that same day after I'd left. Angelica Duenas notified me that she was let in to watch it at 11:15 on November 7th. They had already begun the process. So someone told me that I wouldn't be ready to perform until Monday, but then it actually started that day on, I think that was a Friday.
Yeah, they don't want the media there.
Hey, John, when we went for the logic and accuracy test, who showed up? What people of the public showed up for the logic and accuracy test? Nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
It was just me and John.
Oh, yeah, for the logic and accuracy test.
I mean, but that's the thing. Everybody should be showing up for all these tests and stuff. We need election integrity activists to get their off their ass and get to the goddamn places.
LA County is the largest county in America. And only me and, in the largest county in America, only the Convo Couch, me and Pastor were fucking there to see the logic and accuracy
It was ridiculous.
test of the fucking shit.
And they started it without us.
And it was a bullshit. Yeah.
That's a logic and accuracy test, but the one you were covering that day, it's 1%. Do you know what a 1%? That it's not enough, guys.
Yeah.
A 1% audit does not show nearly enough representation. It's not a good sample size. It's ridiculous. And even with that, they can't even follow basic things.
Yeah, because there's more malarkey to it. Go ahead, Johnny. Explain about the audit.
Yeah. So after asking a few questions on the process of the 1% manual tally, I asked to see the other two rooms where the 1% manual tally for the vote by mail ballots would be taking place, because the room I was looking at, they said that, we're going to do the ballot marking device ballots there. These two rooms had 12 staff each, just sitting and waiting. I asked Gomez why they were just sitting and not organizing the sheets like the first rooms. He said that yesterday they had problems with the printer. This literally happened, and they were not able to print out the sheets for them to work on. I also asked if the staff was performing the 1% manual tally or permanent staff, and was notified that they were temporary employees.
Yep.
And then I just asked a question. Why is the LARCC using public money to hire employees to sit at standby for a state-mandated certification process that has been delayed several times before that day? After the tour of the 1% manual tallies, I was again notified by Gomez that the 1% manual tally probably wouldn't occur that day, and Monday was the best bet. So I asked about Sunday and was told I could also try on Sunday. Okay, and then this is more about the white van that was sketchy.
Johnny, can you post this up in the chat or something? Because I'm going to also send this to our friends in Arizona, too, as well, who've been wanting to see a lot of our work. Because this is important right now. We're talking about audits. We're going out to see an audit. But look at the sidestepping. Look at the do-si-do fam, the way they're dancing all over the place. An audit is supposed to be something serious. It's supposed to protect the election, the integrity of the election, and yet they can't get their shit straight.
The integrity of our democracy.
It's disgusting. But yet you're going to have people gaslight, lie, tell you that audits are bad, tell you
our
that they're
democracy was
fake.
Destroyed on January 6, 2021.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so then I went back Sunday instead of Monday, and then was let in. After 3 days of attempts, I would finally be able to see the 1% manual tally process in action. So I kind of give a summary of how it works. Everything is good except the thing that they're supposed to check it against, right? The 1%, you do the ballots, you check it, and you're supposed to check it against the machine-generated tally report.
Yeah,
it wasn't ready. And
How is that possible?
And then Angelica Duenas verified to me that when she was escorted to see the 1% manual tally, Gomez confirmed that the machine-generated tally report was not ready. So here we can maybe hear it for a second.
So what they're saying is that the computer generated results may or may not be processed yet. So they have 12 batches that they're manually tallying and comparing.
The batches are the boxes, right? It's a white box.
Those are the boxes. And what they're saying is that these batches may not be, the computer part of it, the generating part of it may not be processed yet. So my question is like, well, what are you comparing to?
Yeah.
What are you comparing? You're just counting votes manually, but then what? You know what I mean? These need to be compared to something, because at this point, what I'm trying to explain to them is like this leaves the door open for election tampering, where they can just say that the computer said the same thing. So unless you have it printed and it's sitting somewhere.
Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know that. So you're saying the tally report is not printed out yet. They're having issues printing it out?
They're saying is what Letitia and Alba confirmed is that the computer generating results may or may not be done. So they're saying that this tallying process happens in Downey, and that information is not here. They don't have access to that information, and so they can't tell us what even the computer generated results of these different batches are, because they don't have it.
And that's ridiculous.
So, like, what the fuck? Okay, so do you?
It is like a what the fuck moment, because
So,
you're
like,
supposed to have
what
it
the
printed
fuck?
out and ready.
Johnny, what the
fuck? Me gente está muy loca.
Yeah,
La
so-
gente está muy loca.
I almost said it. La
I
gente
mean-
está muy loca.
So there you go. I mean, the biggest bullshit was that the 1% mandatory report wasn't ready, and the article goes over that. And then just the last thing I'll just say is that I got kicked out from the building for taking a photo, just trying to show what the 1% manual tally looks like. No personal info is in this photo. I even blurred out faces. It's not transparent at all. The public needs to see our democracy working properly, because there's nothing here. This is just how they were doing it.
It's all for show.
So they said that they kicked me out for that, but then I was allowed to come back. But
Yeah. Elections suck in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get into the next part over here, because now the mainstream media, fam, is starting to shit their pants.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
They're starting to shit their pants as this
is actually happening.
And I got some news today too as well. I'm going to break at the very end, but let's just watch our good friend, real journalist Joy Reid, break the news.
Nearly 6 months after losing the election, Donald Trump has struck again. His supporters have orchestrated the latest charade aimed at dismantling the single most important feature of our democracy, the right of voters to choose our leaders. That charade is now on display in Phoenix, Arizona, where, as you can see from these live camera feeds, a fake so-called audit is underway to recount the 2.1 million ballots cast in Arizona's largest county. And keep in mind that Arizona already had 2 full-on actual recounts after the November election. Well, this fakey version is costing taxpayers $150,000, with access seemingly only granted to the Trump-fawning news channel One America News Network, unless reporters agree to participate in the make-believe audit as observers. This is what happened when one of our reporters tried to gain access.
Hi, sir. How you doing?
I'm not authorized to speak to the
We're with NBC. We're hoping to cover as journalists what's happening here inside.
I'm not authorized to speak to the press or
Are you with the audit, though?
I'm not authorized to speak to the press.
These guys said they would be able to talk to you about getting in as journalists.
There's a media area for media. We're allowed to be in that area only, not the building.
Trump lost to President Biden in Maricopa County, yet none of that matters to those committed to Trump's big lie. And that includes the very person hired to supposedly audit the ballots. Doug Logan, CEO of the Cyber Ninjas, who has reportedly advanced election fraud theories online. And yes, you heard that right. A far past the sell-by-date review of our presidential election is currently being led by a group called the Cyber Ninjas. You really can't make it up. And those Cyber Ninjas, well, they have tools in their Cyber Ninja kits, like ultraviolet lights, a feature Trump is particularly interested in, which should also come as no surprise, as his COVID quackery once included blasting the body with ultraviolet light from the inside as a way to eradicate the coronavirus. According to internal documents, these lights are being used to hunt for so-called, quote, fraud. The firm is also so concerned about Antifa attacks that they requested National Guard protection, which the Republican governor of Arizona, of course, declined. Now, this may appear as the last dying gasps of an election lie, but the consequences are actually quite real and dire, cementing a path that allows Republicans to baselessly contest any outcome that they don't happen to like. It's costing you money while chipping away at press freedoms. And that is why Trump and his cult members' ongoing effort to defile American democracy is the absolute worst.
You can protest any
chipping away at press freedom.
yeah, because the press not let inside. How about
this? Is Officer
but
Michael.
Listen, fam.
Julian Assange would like a word.
You can protest they can protest anything they don't like. She was the one who started Russiagate. She was one of the first people to fucking blurt it out of their mouth the fact that they didn't like what was going on. They started blaming Russia for 4.5 fucking years, and then want to sell you this fake bill of goods now that this is against our democracy. How bad can an audit be?
This is what she's literally lying to you guys. She said we've already had 2 recounts. No, we haven't.
No.
We haven't had 2 full recounts, and and recounts aren't audits.
Yeah.
That's another thing. She's saying this is the same thing. It's not the same thing. We did not have a full anything. This is the first of its class, and also she is lying by saying this is costing taxpayer money.
Yeah.
She said it several times. She starts out by saying Trump struck again, as if Trump is involved in paying for this audit. He is not. Are they a lot of his supporters that are wanting an audit? Yes, but that is their right to do so. That is anybody's right. If your constituents in your state feel like there is something going on, they have the right to demand an audit. And then we already are past that point. The courts proceeded with it. Like that, this is the law of the land. This is how you're supposed to do things. So to say that Trump struck again, this is the language they use to once again tie this to the January 6th insurrectionists and say that, they're undermining our democracy. What is undermining our democracy is a lack of transparency in elections. This is why 68% of Americans in a poll done in 2014 do not believe we have a fair election system. Yeah. They did not believe that. That was before Donald Trump. Imagine what's going on now and how people feel now.
It's and the funny thing about it is with the whole Georgia bill, people were saying, well, this bill kills accessibility. No, it doesn't. Really, the thing that kills accessibility more or participation the most, fam, is when you have a system that people don't believe in it. They become apathetic and they say, no more. Why should I participate in a system that is so friggin' rigged? It has no security. The most accessible election would be an election with no securities. So what do? We just have no securities at all. You know what I'm saying?
I'll vote 20 times.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's the most accessible type of election and stuff. It makes no sense.
Just vote online.
And people just they just keep parroting on with the same and mainstream media bullshit. Now, one area where we're going to push back a little bit, I think, too, as well, we have to ask about the situation when we do go out there. The last tweet I put up, we are committed to following all court orders to protect the ballots and voter privacy. The press agreed not to photograph ballots per the court order. Ryan Randazzo, that's my mom's grandma's maiden name, Randazzo, violated the agreement and posted this unblurred photo online. He was escorted out and his access is revoked. Now, there's been a report, and this is something that we have to look into because it appears to be true. Looks like we have former Arizona lawmaker Anthony Kern reviewing ballots, hashtag audit pool. Now, if he is on those ballots, he shouldn't be in that room. I'd like to get some more information on this stuff. This was brought to us the other day. This is a concern for people who are anti-audit. I don't know why they're anti-audit anyways. But, I mean, if an audit's to be done fair, I'm curious to why he's in the room if his names are on the ballot and what he's doing. I don't know if they removed him, but we want to get more information. However, the press has agreed they're not going to put people's faces or names out there, whatnot. And they've done it with more than just Anthony Kern. There are other people's faces who haven't been blurred. Since then, those photos have been taken down, what is what, but they want to make sure that they don't belittle these people who are participating in the in the audit too as well. So that's just something. I'm going to also ask people about the money that's donated to pay for the audit too as well. We will ask those questions, but for the most part, I think this audit is really important. It is historic, and what they're doing is amazing, and it needs to be done.
And if anything, it's going to expose the system either way for whatever it is.
Breaking news from what I heard from a source that all the information was not given over to the audit people. In other words, they're missing some logs, fam. Johnny, from what I'm told, they didn't get all the Cassandra logs or those logs that will have all the access points and stuff. Yeah. So they're going back to ask for those logs.
Wow.
Just so you know, they want those logs. And that kind of puts a lot of emphasis behind Raji Rob's case, okay, is what it's not. Because Raji's just simply said, well, show us the logs. It's the public's audit, right? It's the public's election. Let's show us the logs. If it wasn't accessed, show us the logs. They won't show us the logs.
That tells you everything.
Yeah. We got a little in the news section really quick over here. We have no more super rays to talk about, but we did get some great matches from Ungi. We have 742 people, $742, 80 people watching. Thank you to all who participated. We're going to finish off the show with the last subject, topic. Johnny, go right on into it.
Yeah. So yesterday was May 2nd.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I made a tweet. I was like, yesterday we saw marches around the world for May Day. What might be not known more widely is that today is the 54th anniversary of the Black Panthers' armed protest at the California state capitol, where they demonstrated in opposition to anti-gun Mulford Act. So here's an article, and I'm gonna read a little bit of it. And
what, the left supports gun rights?
Black Panthers?
What?
I was taught in school that there are a bunch of radicals against the government.
Commies.
It's largely forgotten now, but 50 years ago, it created national sensation. It even caused the NRA and Ronald Reagan to back a gun control bill authored by a Republican. Today is the 50th anniversary of the quote invasion, is what they called it in the media, of the state capitol by 24 gun-toting Black Panthers carrying rifles, pistols, and shotguns and wearing dark glasses, leather jackets, and berets. They marched up the front steps and into the Capitol to demonstrate their opposition to an anti-gun bill by Oakland Republican Don Mulford. It's important that you know he's from Oakland. Unlike today, there was no airport-style security checkpoints at Capitol entrances. Visitors come and go freely. Wow, that freedom, guys. When they arrived, Ronald Reagan, then near the beginning of his 8 years as governor, was on the Capitol lawn hosting a gathering of 8th graders. Capitol is invaded, blared the huge front page headline in the May 2nd, then afternoon Sacramento Bee. AP photographer Walt Sobowski's dramatic pictures ran in newspapers across the nation. The Panthers had also alerted television stations to their upcoming demonstration. It all came about as a result of the American racial divide that existed 50 years ago, and some measures continue today. 54 years ago now. On the eve of the Summer of Love in San Francisco, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense began in 1966 as a small community organization across the Bay in Oakland. The founders were Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. Bobby Seale described the Panthers as an organization that represents black people, and many white radicals relate to this and understand that the Black Panther Party is a righteous revolutionary front against this racist, decadent, capitalistic system. The motto was power to the people. The Panthers instituted armed police patrols to protect African Americans, they said, from Oakland police harassment. In those days in California, it was legal to carry guns in public as long as they weren't pointed at someone. 6 months after they began, the Black Panthers, Seale and Newton, heard about Mulford's bill and decided to dramatically demonstrate their opposition by going to the Capitol. 6 months after they started, okay? When they arrived, Ronald Reagan, then near the beginning of his 8 years, was on the on the lawn hosting a gathering of 8th graders. Mm-hmm. As the armed and fearsome-looking Panthers arrived, Reagan was hustled inside. The visitors walked into the building and headed for the assembly chamber on the second floor, where they intended to read aloud Executive Mandate Number 1, a statement in opposition to the Mulford bill. They were not allowed to enter the chamber, so they went outside and read the statement on the front lawn. You guys were there. You guys, is there a second floor, right? There was a second floor. Is that where the chamber is?
I think you can go up to the second floor. I know there's stairs going up there. We didn't go up there that day, but yes, there is a second floor.
The Black Panthers' actions resulted in swift approval of Mulford's bill, so it actually accelerated approval of the bill. Mulford even added a clause barring anyone but law enforcement from bringing a loaded firearm into the Capitol. Reagan quickly signed the bill, and he was quoted saying, "There's no reason why on the street today a citizen should be carrying loaded weapons." The demonstration drew the attention of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, who wanted to be sure black nationalist hate groups were scrutinized. The Black Panthers and their dramatic tactics captured the imagination of young African Americans who felt someone was standing up for them in the face of white racism. The racial divide in the U.S. continues unabated. So I'm just going to go through my tweet a little bit. So there's some pictures there. Reagan runs away. Here's some pictures. They walked in there. You can see those pictures. It looks like they took the guns.
The insurrectionist.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't even see weapons there on January 6th. They got rifles.
Someone was telling me, yeah, they had guns. I'm like, show me the evidence.
Who said they had guns? Nobody had guns.
Show me the evidence.
Fucking people who weren't even there. Shut the hell up. There were no weapons.
Zero.
There's Reagan, and then here's what they printed, the Sacramento Bee. Capitol is invaded.
Oh!
What if they literally took this and were like, "Oh, we'll just do the same thing."
Johnny Deep State,
You know what I'm saying?
Johnny Rabbit Hole.
So look at that. But except it wasn't even like this.
It was far less. It was a bunch of idiots, fucking crazy idiots with a horn.
Wait a second.
With
there was weapons. There was bear mace.
Bear mace.
You're gonna take over the Capitol with bear mace.
Dude, remember when I said the left should have done this? This is what I was thinking.
This is what this is exactly.
I'm so sorry.
Exactly what
They already did, fam.
Okay, but I mean, we
our peeps, the Black Panthers.
Where my Black Panthers at, yo?
We know we talked to one. We talked to one.
So I was like, leftists need to realize that empire education and mainstream media have kept these demonstrations hidden from the working class on purpose. They don't want you to know that the Black Panthers not only carried loaded firearms, they actually tried to protect gun rights.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Panthers instituted armed police patrols to protect Black Americans from police harassment. I said something that would be useful today. And it has been useful in Virginia. You know, when
absolutely
they're walking around with guns, armed.
757, the Boogaloo Boys all helping out.
And they were rejected by the vast majority of the BLM groups that were there because of the gun issue.
Because of the gun.
Stupid.
Because of the gun.
Can you show that
Even though the Black Panthers
blow that one up. Look at
went to the fucking state capitol with guns, loaded up. This is a colorized picture. It looks awesome. Look at that. That shit's crazy. So
that's some real motherfucking leftist shit.
And I said, all power to the people.
All power to the people.
And so really quick, I just want to show there's this 1 minute, 30-second video recap of footage on the ground there.
Let's do shit.
The Convo Couch was there.
Damn. We weren't even born. I wasn't born for 6 more years.
Anyway, the next thing I know, I'm marching on the Capitol because we're up there to protest a bill they're trying to put in to keep us from carrying guns. Ronald Reagan is over here on the big front lawn. I got a statement to read.
The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense calls upon the American people in general and the black people in particular to take careful note of the racist California legislature, which is now considering legislation aimed at keeping the black people disarmed and powerless. At the very same time, racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of black people.
Ronald Reagan is escorted off the lawn by the state capitol police. I said,
Running.
we can go inside somewhere. Isn't there a spectator section?
I have these Black Panthers up here with guns on the second floor. You get it. Let me get in here. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Right in the office. Wait a minute. Are we under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Place him under arrest. Go ahead, brother. Am I under arrest? Take your hands off me if I'm not under arrest. Am I under arrest? I'm telling you to take your hands off me.
They put trumped-up charges of conspiracy and felonies on everyone who went in to exercise a constitutional right and said they had no right to bear arms in a public place. The California Penal Code Section 12020 through 12027 and also the Second Amendment of the Constitution guarantees the citizen a right to bear arms on public property.
And Johnny, I think we should add this section to its own video. So
the right to bear arms on public property.
Yep.
So here's some more videos. You guys can look it up. California State Capitol Black Panthers. I'm not going to show all of them. There's a 20-minute one that looks really good. I'm just going to show a little bit of this one. It looks really nice.
And also superior to the statutory law of California.
I'm under arrest, I'll come. If I'm not, don't put your hands on me.
They arrested somebody for no reason.
Waging a racist war.
That must have been the elevator or something.
Survivors on reservations. The savage lynching of thousands of black men and women. The dropping of atomic bombs.
Whoa, the dropping of atomic bombs.
Yeah.
See, they were talking about fucking imperialism.
They're always,
always.
The Black Panthers always talked about imperialism. That shit is awesome.
That's the main issue the empire had with them.
Fuck.
Because the imperialism is part of capitalism.
Might be directed against other Americans. But I would think that some of the bills that have been suggested, such as not carrying a loaded
Reagan go
weapon,
out and talk to them? No.
On a city
He
street
ran away like a little
chicken
or in
shit.
town.
Chicken shit. And you know they ended that shit quickly. Oh, there's black people with guns. Let's sign a bill. Terrible. You know they did that shit, dude.
The NRA. That's
Fucking
hilarious to me.
Oh, freedom for the guns. Your right to bear arms. Oh, it's
NRA,
black people
my
with guns
ass.
coming into the Capitol. Let's create a law.
The Second Amendment goes out the window.
Yeah, bullshit. Crack of shit.
Protect the Second Amendment, guys.
Suckers. Johnny, what else we got?
So I'm not going to say the word here, but I'm just putting it on the screen here. Our scientific paper is published. This is from COVID-19 Critical Frontline Doctors, right?
Yep.
Many examples of that distribution campaigns leading to rapid population-wide decreases in morbidity and mortality indicate that an oral agent effective in all phases of COVID-19 has been identified. So this is on Twitter. It's not censored, so we better not get fucking censored for this shit. I didn't even say the word, so there you go. I'm just showing that. You guys are going to go find that COVID-19 Critical. There's scientific papers there. There's a lot of there's whatever.
People don't believe in science, Johnny.
I can't say shit because we're gonna get fucking.
But
isn't this fucking crazy?
It took me complaining and a bunch of other people complaining because on Twitter because there was a guy who was an actual pedophile talking about how it's not a bad thing to go after for adults to be with children.
Yeah.
And he was blatantly just out of profile everything, and it took people finally be like, hey, I can't even mention the word of this drug that's used prolifically all over the world to combat not just obviously coronavirus but other things. And like people can like say so much terrible shit. They can make fake profiles of you. They can do. This isn't about disinformation. Russiagate is still like, you know, seen as a conspiracy when it's not seen as a conspiracy, right? When we're debunking it, that's seen as a conspiracy. When you're talking about the Syrian chemical attacks, all of that, Julian Assange, it just gets completely just shadow banned. This isn't about disinformation, guys. It's about stopping information.
Johnny?
Last thing, Redfish got censored. I don't know if you guys have seen Redfish. They're pretty
on Facebook. Look at this.
Pretty great fucking super leftist fucking page.
Yeah.
Facebook has deleted our page on the grounds that 2 anti-fascist posts violated its community standards. One commemorated the victims of the Nazi Holocaust, and the other marked the defeat of fascism in Italy. All right, so I mean the pictures were kind of, it was like Mussolini hung, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I know. You know, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
I'm saying, but I guess their policy is if there's no gore and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's sorry. You don't get to decide if I see gore, watch gore or not.
Yeah,
right?
It should just be like a sensitive.
Yeah.
If anything, that's the most they should.
Yeah, they can. You know who hung Mussolini? My people, my relatives, the Southern Italians.
Bella ciao, bella ciao.
Enough Mussolini. We got you. We're gonna make an example of you, and that's what they did. Fam.
You're a goon, fam.
So they made a press release. They're based in Berlin, Germany. They took down their page. January 27th post honoring Holocaust. Colorized picture of Benito Mussolini in military uniform. The post of a video showing racism in Vegas attacking young Latino men. Whoa, really? The posts flagged by Facebook were, oh, wow, those three. I didn't know that one was included too. A video showing racism in Las Vegas attacking young Latino men. The Holocaust post was wrongfully flagged for nudity because the concentration campers were shirtless.
Oh, give me a break.
While Facebook alleges the latter two posts
I've seen more naked girls on
we have tried
Facebook.
repeatedly to reach someone to seek clarification on why those posts were removed without success. Journalism is about context. If pictures of prisoners detained by Nazis during World War II are removed because they allegedly breached nudity guidelines, then Facebook's algorithms are not fit for purpose, said International Federation of Journalists General Secretary Anthony Bellinger. If they have been removed for political reasons, there are grave concerns about that an unaccountable private corporation like Facebook can decide which political views it allows and which it decides to censor. That is a dangerous path to go down. So they're acting like a publisher, right?
Again, they're not acting like a platform, which they are exempt from getting sued, and yet they're still doing this shit, hiding behind that thing. And how many times do we see pictures of the Holocaust in school?
Yeah.
I've seen pictures in my textbooks I can
and
go
how many
go
pictures
find.
of like half-ass naked people you find on Facebook and Instagram? And
right.
Like, it's not about nudity. Don't kid yourself.
Liars.
So yeah,
that's it.
And they got 800,000 followers, 600,000 likes on Facebook. So
disgusting. And they're just I
remember when they first started, I was like, hey, this is cool, and they had like 3,000 on Instagram. Now fucking
blown
they blew up because they do really great coverage.
The truth.
Garland Favorito said today what we were talking about. He can't believe the censorship that's out there. He would never dream of a day. He never dreamed of a day that we would come to right now where they're censoring left and right. He can't believe it. You know, this guy's been around for a long time.
It on, dude. Some people are
They're
cheering it on the left. They're like, yeah.
No.
Fucking morons.
Guys, all right, ladies and gentlemen.
We had a long show.
We did. We're going to get out of here right now.
We are.
We had $742 today on the Rokfin. Thanks to Mike Unge for donating and matching all the donations today. He went above and beyond. We had 25 people in the Streamlabs there. So literally we had a $767 day. That's going to really help us out in Arizona. These trips aren't cheap, but you guys always put us in a position to go out there and bring you the information, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to get in people's faces. We're going to show you footage. We're going to interview people. We're going to let you know what's going on. We're going to go to the carnival that just popped up. There's a carnival.
Carnivals are
out of the blue, right next to the stadium. Out of the blue, a carnival just popped up. So we're going to see what that's about.
People who are in the area told me, like, I have never seen or heard of this carnival, and all of a sudden at the same dates, this is where it pops up.
And look who came in at the very end. Hunter Carranza with Ty.
Fam!
We love you, fam. You are fam. Go out to Arizona. Meet us out there in Arizona. We'll be out there for the next 3 days. We're going to go bring you the news. We got some people to talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you to all the people who donated to our PayPal. Those tags are still up. If you want to help with the trip, you can come on over here. You can leave a tip. If you haven't watched the video and left anything, and you can do so, please do so. We're taking the money. We're going to put it into action. We're going to Arizona to cover this historic audit. Thank you so much for today. It was amazing. We can't thank you enough. This is amazing what you did out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing. It really is. We are so humbled.
Is it amazing?
Look, fam, that is amazing.
It is,
it really is what you guys did today.
It
Thank you so much.
We appreciate
We love you. We appreciate you. For Pasta Jardula,
Fiorella,
Jonny Sue on those 1s and 2s.
We're on the road tomorrow.
That's
and
right.
Audit is good, actually.
That's
Convo
right.
out.
Peace.